Naruto God Level System, Chapter 1-20. Chapter 1 Crossing the Hokage Tenseigan. Alas! Sitting in the courtyard in front of the door, Hyuga-chen couldn't help sighing. How come the system hasn't woken up yet? It took me to this Hokage world where there is a village of death, and then it took a bubble and disappeared. Hyuga-chen couldn't help complaining, feeling that this golden finger was a little unreliable. Hyuga-chen was originally from the Celestial Dynasty, and for some reason, when he woke up, he came to the world of Hokage, and he was a newborn baby. When Hyuga-chen was just born, the voice of the system appeared in his mind, and before Hyuga-chen was happy, the system bubbled and disappeared. It is said to update the system, but 3 years have passed, the system has not been updated, and I don't know if it is dead. Fortunately, when the system was bubbling up, the novice reward was already sent to Hyuga-chen, which is why Hyuga-chen hadn't jumped up yet. When the system was bubbling, he gave the bloodline of the Hyuga-chen Otsutsuki clan, and also gave him a body to cleanse and make his bloodline sublime. After the sublimation of blood, Hyuga-chen has pure Byakugan, plus the blood of the Otsutsuki family, and the help of the system, so that Hyuga-chen has Tenseigan at the beginning, which is refreshing. This is also the reason why Hyuga-chen doesn't panic. With Tenseigan, and because of the system's physical refinement, Hyuga-chen's talent has been improved, that is, the system will never appear in the future. He doesn't say that he can dominate the ninja world, but self-protection is more than enough. Out a mirror, Hyuga-chen looked at the blue eyes in the mirror, like a starry sky, with a smile on her cute little face. If you go out, you can definitely meet a group of big sisters. I have to say, I still have nothing to say about my appearance, and I can eat with my face in the future. Hyuga-chen said narcissistically. Hey, Tenseigan is powerful, but it's useless. Otherwise, I really want to give it a try. Can I cut the moon open all at once? Hyuga-chen said sadly after stroking his eyes. Tenseigan is too powerful. Hyuga-chen said that he can't consume it, and the chakra is not enough. So the current Tenseigan, apart from the good looks and Byakugan's detection ability, the other Hyuga-chen can't be used at all. If Hyuga-chen wants to forcibly use Tenseigan, that's okay. If chakra is not enough, you can also use life force to fill it, just like Uzumaki Nagato. But Hyuga-chen doesn't want to be the ghost of Uzumaki Nagato, so let's use it when chakra is compared with the tail beast in the future. Anyway, after getting the bloodline of Otsutsuki, Hyuga-chen also got the body of a fairy, and when he grows up, his chakra is at least comparable to Senju Hashirama. Now that World War II has not started, and there is still more time, Hyuga-chen is not in a hurry at all. The latest Filu Tianbang popular books plus full group files plus 10,000 online disc resources plus 800 new books per month. And the Hedgehog Cat book. This book is only for communication and learning, and the copyright belongs to the original author and publisher. If you like it, please support the genuine version. Hyuga-chen, you bastard of impure blood, look at my forehead. The elder said that only the genius of the Hyuga family with pure blood can have this mark. You bastard is not qualified at all. While Hyuga-chen sat in a daze, a second hand pointed to the caged bird mark on his forehead and showed off to Hyuga-chen. Hyuga-chen's mouth twitched. He didn't know how to tell this silly child that he was put on a time bomb, and he didn't know where you got the sense of superiority. Hyuga iron plate, don't bother me if you're okay. Go find someone else to show off. Hyuga-chen didn't want to talk to this second-hand, so as not to lose his IQ. You must be jealous of me because you didn't get this mark. Hyuga Iron felt good about himself, and didn't see Hyuga-chen's idiot-looking expression at all. This is being sold, and you have to help the other party count the money. Hyuga-chen secretly complained. Can only be said that the brainwashing of the Hyuga family has reached a certain level. A time bomb has been placed, and it is considered to be glory, which is terrible. When he grows up and thinks back to this scene, will he think he is stupid X? Hyuga-chen thought to himself. A smile appeared on his face. I really wanted to see if his tears would flow out after he knew the truth. Seeing the ridicule on Hyuga Chen's face, Hyuga Iron was very upset and asked angrily, "Are you mocking me? I want to fight you." Hyuga Chen was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "I laughed at you there, I was actually envious of you just now." Speaking of which, Hyuga Chen also showed an envious expression, which made Hyuga Iron in a good mood and greatly satisfied her vanity. Patting his chest, Hyuga said ironically, "Whoever says you're trash in the future, come to me, and I'll cover you." Hyuga Chen smiled, hee, and then took a lot of effort to send the second hand away. "I didn't expect Tensagen to let me escape, otherwise I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to escape the fate of being cursed by a caged bird." Hyuga Chen chuckled lightly. "Yeah, in their eyes, I'm just a waste who doesn't even have Byakugan, how could they waste time and give me the spell of the bird in the cage?" Hyuga-chan never thought that revealing Tensagen's secrets, even if exposed, must have the ability to protect themselves. There's also a pervert, Danzo in Konoha who doesn't want to be targeted. And in the ninja world, there is another old yin than Black Zetsu. Hyuga Chen doesn't know if Otsutsuki Hamura has Tensagen, Black Zetsu knows about the existence of Tensagen. But it's better to be cautious in everything. Although Black Zetsu doesn't seem to be fighting, he can kill Madara, so he can't be underestimated. Having lived in the ninja world for thousands of years, who knows what kind of means he has. Now Hyuga Chen can only be said to have an advantage in the beginning, and he can only be regarded as an ant if he has not grown up. If Tensagen is exposed, he will not be able to keep it at all. The first one to attack him is the Hyuga family. Can they resist the temptation of Byakugan evolution? So Hyuga Chen was scolded as a waste, but Hyuga Chen endured it all. Before crossing, he was an adult, not a child, so he could bear this anger. At least compared to the bosses who were always looking for trouble for him before the time travel, the Hyuga families were not bad. After doing it for a while, Hyuga Chen left the Hyuga clan and headed towards the Hokage Rock, the back mountain of Konoha, alone. Hyuga Chen was walking on the street, and people kept greeting him. Although Hyuga Chen is not welcome in the Hyuga family, in the eyes of other people, Hyuga Chen, this lovely Shota, is still very popular. Hyuga Chen didn't pretend to be cold, and when someone greeted him, he would respond one by one. The latest Filu Tianbang popular books plus full group files plus 10,000 online disc resources plus 800 new books per month. And the Hedgehog Cat book. This book is only for communication and learning, and the copyright belongs to the original author and publisher. If you like it, please support the genuine version. After coming to the back mountain, Hyuga-chan started to exercise. He is only 3 years old now and can't get chakra refining at all. So in order not to waste the recovery ability of the immortal body, Hyuga Chen started exercising at this time. Although there is no chakra, the basic recovery ability of the body of the immortal can still be used. Even if you have Tensagen, if you don't work hard, everything will be in vain. Chapter 2 System wakes up. There was not a single cloud in the sky, a scorching sun overhead, no wind at all, and all the trees stood there listlessly and languidly. Hyuga Chen was sweating profusely at this time. He was still young, and after doing 100 push-ups, he couldn't hold on anymore. But he is also very pervert. Before crossing, he couldn't do so many push-ups, not to mention that Hyuga Chen is only 3 years old now. Lying on the ground, Hyuga Chen gasped for breath, with a wry smile on his face. He found that he couldn't hold on at all. It seems that my perseverance is still too bad. Hyuga Chen sat up with his sore body. At this time, Hyuga Chen especially admired Might Guy and Little Lee. If compared to talent, Hyuga Chen is now in the sky and they are underground. But compared to perseverance, they were in the sky, and Hyuga Chen was about to fall to the ground. After taking a few breaths, Hyuga Chen stood up and started to practice kicking and punching. Although Hyuga Chen really wanted to rest, but thinking about the big bosses in the future, he forced himself to train. He has a sage body, and he is not afraid of leaving secret injuries or something. If he is lazy again, he will be so sorry for his talent. The training continued until the afternoon. When it was close to the evening, Hyuga-chen stopped out of breath, took out the water bottle, and took a few sips of water. Then take out the food, because it is the Hyuga family, even if both parents die, they are not welcome in the clan, but there is still a lot of money, so the meals that Hyuga-chen brought out are very rich. Hyuga-chen's cheap father died unexpectedly while on a mission when Hyuga-chen was just over a year old. And Hyuga-chen's mother died of dystocia when Hyuga-chen was born, so Hyuga-chen is now an orphan. But pensions, as well as family subsidies, are still quite a lot. This is the benefit of having a family. Regardless of whether Hyuga-chen is a trash or not, they can't treat Hyuga-chen materially for the sake of Hyuga's family. Hyuga-chen who is being laughed at, but the Hyuga family. After Mei-Mei's meal, Hyuga-chen regained her strength again. At this time, Hyuga-chen really experienced the pervert of sage body. Although the fatigue has not fully recovered, but it has recovered a little bit. Hyuga-chen stood up in good spirits and walked towards home. The sun was about to set, he couldn't keep practicing, and he still knew if it was too much. Back at home, Hyuga-chen took a comfortable hot bath and felt that the cells in his body were extremely active. At this time, Hyuga-chen was extremely eager for chakra refining. Although most children of big families can only practice at the age of 4, otherwise they will hurt themselves, but Hyuga-chen is different. With sage body, his vitality and physique are very powerful, and he can refine chakra at this time. Originally, Hyuga-chen's cheap dad was also a jonin. Hyuga-chen thought he would keep chakra refining, but Hyuga-chen searched the whole house and couldn't find it, so Hyuga-chen was disappointed. In the blink of an eye, the sky dimmed, and a round of Kiba hung like a moon in the night sky, and the stars in the sky kept twinkling. Hyuga-chen looked up at the sky with infinite emotion. He didn't expect that one day, he would travel to the second dimension. Perhaps that's not bad. Hyuga-chen's mouth curled into a smile. Anyway, on Earth, he is also an orphan and has nothing to worry about, that is, he has met a few friends at work. If you say they are friends, in fact, the relationship is just normal. It is a superficial friend, and it is not bad to not stab you in the back. Compared to the Earth, the environment here is indeed better, at least you can see the stars in the sky. After sighing with emotion, Hyuga-chen looked at the crescent moon in the night sky. Who knew that Kagaya-hime, the ancestor of chakra, was sealed on the moon that everyone could see? Open black lens bracket system update completed. Close black lens bracket. The mechanical voice, remembered in Hyuga-chen's mind, made Hyuga-chen stunned for a moment, and then an excited look appeared on his face. The system finally woke up. Is the system there? Hyuga-chen asked in his heart. After a long time, there is still no response. Hyuga-chen is a little confused. What is going on? Did it bubble up and disappear again? With a worried look on Hyuga-chen's face, he shouted, "Open the system panel." Only Hyuga-chen could see appeared in front of Hyuga-chen, making Hyuga-chen heave a sigh of relief. Then he complained, "Why don't you answer the system?" System still didn't move, as if it didn't hear Hyuga-chen's question. Okay, my system is a dumb system. After complaining, Hyuga-chen looked at the system panel with joy. The system panel is very simple, just a lottery, a mall, and a backpack, not even a task panel. System was very cold and kept silent. Hyuga-chen could only explore by himself. First, Hyuga-chen opened the mall first. After opening the mall, the big characters, inclusive of everything, appeared in Hyuga-chen's eyes. Then the items in the row below made Hyuga-chen dazzled. Looking at all kinds of things that could easily destroy the world, Hyuga-chen's saliva flowed out. But after looking at the price, Hyuga-chen showed a bitter smile, and when he saw the series of numbers, Hyuga-chen said that his head was dizzy. Looking at the exchange points in his hand, Hyuga-chen was suddenly stunned. What he saw, he actually had 30,000 exchange points. A string of question marks ran through Hyuga-chan's mind. Where did the 30,000 redemption points come from? Is it a system reward? But there are exchange points, which is a good thing. Hyuga-chan swiped the panel, looking for something to increase his strength. The latest Filu Tianbang popular books plus full group files plus 10,000 online disc resources plus 800 new books per month. And the Hedgehog Cat book. This book is only for communication and learning, and the copyright belongs to the original author and publisher. If you like it, please support the genuine version. But the sliding Hyuga-chan has a sour hand, and it is still those products with a price of 8 or 9 figures. Although Hyuga-chan is envious, he can't afford it. System, help me list the items I can afford. To bear it any longer, Hyuga-chan shouted to the system that had been silent for a while. Originally, Hyuga-chan had already done it, and the system ignored its own preparations. I didn't expect the system to really help. The goods above 30,000 disappeared, and all that remained were the goods of 30,000 and below. Hyuga-chan glanced at it and frowned. There were still too many things, such as some sci-fi laser cannons, fantasy cultivation techniques and medicinal pills, and flying swords in the world of Shenxia. He's in the Hokage world now, so he won't necessarily use it if he gets it, and Hyuga-chan doesn't like it either. Of course, something worth 30,000 yuan is very profitable. Look at the flying sword, the rusted Madara, it seems to be scrapped, and the exercise method, the stone-crushing boxing, do you dare to fish for a little more? Hyuga-chan started a frantic rant mode in his heart. Third chapter Lucky Draw, Part 1. System, only the things in the Hokage world are left, and everything else is blocked. Hyuga-chan said to the system. The mall panel was refreshed again, and all the messy things disappeared, leaving only the things in the Hokage world. At it, Hyuga-chan found that with 30,000 redemption points, you can buy B-level ninjutsu at most, such as Shadow Clone Jutsu, Kaden Fire Style, Head Hard, Raiden Thunder Style, False Darkness, etc. Technique. Hyuga-chan has never seen any A** rank ninjutsu, let alone S-rank ninjutsu. Hyuga-chan felt a little disappointed, feeling that there was nothing powerful. In fact, this is Hyuga-chan's dissatisfaction. B-level ninjutsu is generally only available to Jonin, so B-level ninjutsu is not bad. Hyuga-chan glanced at it, and then began to look down. He didn't want any ninjutsu. Now, the most important thing for him is chakra refining. In the place below, Hyuga-chan finally found the chakra refining technique. Don't look at this chakra refining technique as the root of the ninja, but it doesn't require many exchange points. That is, 1,000 exchange points, and Hyuga-chan will be exchanged. Although I know that the family will issue it in the future, but when the family issues it, it will be a year later. Hyuga-chan doesn't want to waste a year. After redeeming the chakra refining technique, Hyuga-chan glanced around and found that there was nothing to buy. At this stage, it was enough for him to have the chakra refining technique. But after thinking about it, he still took out 10,000 exchange points and bought Kaden Fire Style Great Fireball Jutsu. Although it is AC level ninjutsu, its power should not be underestimated. If you increase the chakra, you can even play the power of B-level ninjutsu, which is more cost-effective. After buying, Hyuga-chan closed the system mall, and then looked at the page of the lottery. Hyuga-chan reached out and clicked, and a large turntable appeared in front of Hyuga-chan, with the words starting the lottery written in the middle. Hyuga-chan glanced at it and found that the number of draws at the bottom showed 3 times. Hyuga-chan raised his eyebrows, then asked the system, System, did you give away these 3 lottery draws? Open black lens bracket Yes. The system will give you a lottery every year, and there are 10,000 exchange points. The mechanical voice of the system answered. Hyuga-chan raised his eyebrows again, and then asked, how can I get the exchange points and the number of lottery draws? The system fell silent again and did not answer, making Hyuga-chan a little helpless. Let's smoke it. It's useless to keep it if you don't smoke it. Whether you're African or European depends on this moment. Hyuga Chen said helplessly. Then he reached out and clicked to start the lottery. At the moment when the lottery started under Hyuga Chen, he was pulled into another space. The space was a little dark, and there were shining stars hanging in the sky. On the big roulette wheel, 8 items appeared, dividing the roulette wheel into 8 equal parts. Hyuga Chen looked at the 8 items, and his breathing suddenly came down. The first thing that caught my eye was a simple long sword. Just looking at it, Hyuga Chen felt as if it was burned to ashes. Ryujin Jaka, it's actually Ryujin Jaka, old man Yamamoto's Zanpakuto. If you can get it, you will be in the air in seconds. Hyuga Chen was extremely excited. This is a sword that can destroy the world. Although Zanpakuto's strength has always been debated, Ryujin Jaka has always been in the forefront and has never fallen. Resisting the excitement in his heart, Hyuga Chen looked at the second item, which was also a knife, and it was also a Zanpakuto. However, after Hyuga Chen saw it, he was not very interested. It is not that this Zanpakuto is not strong, but that it is too restrictive and it is not very useful in Hokage. This Zanpakuto is Muramasa, once considered the strongest Zanpakuto, but it is only fierce in the world of death, and in the world of Hokage without Zanpakuto, there is a chicken. Then I looked at the next one, a pair of blue eyes, but it was a little different from Hyuga Chen's Tenseigen, the devil's eye of death, and I couldn't explain it. I don't know if the magic eye of direct death can kill the immortal Kagaya. Hyuga Chen tilted his head and thought. The fourth is the devil fruit, which is known as the strongest thunder fruit in the natural system. Of course, whether it is the strongest or not, there is still a lot of controversy. But Hyuga-chan didn't want it. It wasn't because he wasn't strong, but because he was afraid of seawater. It was too big in Hokage. Hyuga-chan didn't need to leave such a big disadvantage for himself. Last 4 are observation haki, swordsman grandmaster, Rasengan and Navy 6 shave. It seems that luck is good, at least not Africans. Before, Hyuga Chen can see that there is everything in this big turntable. It is a match, a wooden stick as possible. These 8 items are at least useful to themselves. Bless the Jade Emperor and Daozu Taishang. You must let me draw Ryujin Jaka. The magic eye of death can also be, bless. After meditating for a few words, Hyuga Chen pointed to the start, and then the dial pointer began to rotate, and Hyuga Chen couldn't complain at that speed. It's faster than the speed of light. It's running so fast, aren't you afraid of breaking it? Amid Hyuga Chen's ranting, the roulette hands began to slow down, and Hyuga Chen also became nervous. In Hyuga Chen's nervous expression, the pointer skipped over the thunder fruit, and then the demon eye of death also swept past, slowly pointing at Ryujin Jaka. Hyuga Chen jumped up happily. This luck is too good. Ryujin Jaka is properly, with Ryujin Jaka, what Uchiha Madara, what Otsutsuki Kagaya, all of them were hacked to death. Facts tell us that we can't be happy too early, because the other party will always give you a head-on attack when you are most proud. In Hyuga Chen's ugly face, the pointer slid across Ryujin Jaka to the Rasengan, which Hyuga Chen thought was the worst. Then the word Rasengan disappeared, and the feeling about Rasengan entered Hyuga Chen's mind in an instant. With chakra, Hyuga Chen can use Rasengan now. But Hyuga Chen's face was extremely dark. Although Rasengan was not bad, his cultivation methods were all in Hyuga Chen's mind. Originally, he still thought that after he had chakra, he would tinker with Rasengan. Rasengan is drawn, it saves Hyuga Chen's time at most, and it is of no use at all. Oh, it's good, it just saves time to practice, and it's not bad. Hyuga Chen kept comforting himself in his heart. He has already drawn, and he can't go back. At this time, he is not optimistic. What else can he do? Does it make him cry? There are 2 more chances, it's fine. It's okay to waste 1 chance with a European emperor like me. Although blood was dripping in his heart, his face was calm, and he looked at the lottery roulette again. Chapter 4 Lottery below. Bless the gods and Buddhas in the sky. If I can draw good things, I will definitely offer incense to you, bless. Closing his eyes and praying, Hyuga Chen clicked the word for lottery. As Hyuga Chen clicked, the items on the lottery wheel were refreshed, and this time there were only 5 items. Observation Haki that appeared in the previous lottery. The other 4 are Hitomi Suzano, Hitomi Chibaku Tensai, Heavenly Body Bursting from the Earth, Zanpakudo Kyoka Shueyu, Sage Mode. It seems that praying to God and worshipping Buddha is really useful. Except for Observation Haki, the others are super strong. Hyuga Chen said excitedly. Needless to say, Suzano and Chibaku Tensai, Heavenly Body Bursting from the Earth, one is Mangekyo Sharingan's ultimate move, and the other is Rinnegan's ultimate move. Zanpakudo Kyoka Suzuki, Zanpakudo, the boss of Aizen, can completely hypnotize the 5 senses, and you will be invincible when you get it. Sage Mode is also very strong. Throughout the entire ninja world, there are several who have learned Sage Mode, even Uchiha Madara has not learned it. Observation Haki is a little bit worse. Of course, this is for Hyuga Chen. He has Tenseigen, 360 degrees of sight without blind spots. Observation Haki is not very useful to him. Unless it is like Roger, the Pirate King, who can listen to the voice of all things, or it overlaps with Tenseigen's ability, it's just the difference between seeing and listening. Among the 5 prizes, the one that Hyuga Chen most wanted was Zanpakudo Kyoka Suzuki. After getting Kyoka Shueyu, it is a bit exaggerated to say invincible, but as long as the characters of the 6 paths level don't come out, basically Hyuga Chen's Yui Kakuzu can't be touched. At the 6 paths level, Hyuga Chen doesn't know if it can be hypnotized. After all, the 6 paths level is basically a god. In short, these 5 rewards are already very good, as long as you don't draw Observation Haki, and Chibaku Tensai, Heavenly Body Bursting from the Earth, the others are fine. Although Chibaku Tensai, Heavenly Body Bursting from the Earth, is Rinnegan's ultimate move, it is not very attractive to Hyuga Chen. Like the Rasengan drawn before, he can develop it himself if you give Hyuga Chen time. Chibaku Tensai, Heavenly Body Bursting from the Earth, is simply gravity. Tenseigen can also manipulate gravity, even stronger than Rinnegan, so theoretically Tenseigen can also use Chibaku Tensai, Heavenly Body Bursting from the Earth. The lottery started, and the hands turned frantically. Hyuga Chen looked at the frantically turning pointer and felt a little dizzy, so she quickly closed her eyes, stopped watching, and just waited for the final result. When Hyuga Chen and others were anxious, the pointer stopped and stopped on Suzano. Hyuga Chen finally breathed a sigh of relief. Suzano was not the best in it, but it was very important to Hyuga Chen. At this time, Hyuga Chen also thought of a question, whether his own Tenseigen can use Suzano belonging to Mangekyo Sharingan. The system should be able to solve it. Hyuga Chen thought that his Tenseigen should have evolved because of the help of the system. Otherwise, Hyuga Chen doesn't believe it. Just relying on the blood of the Otsutsuki family, plus high purity Byakugan, can evolve 100%, and Hyuga Chen has no fetal movement period, and becomes a perfect Tenseigen directly. This kind of trivial matter, the system should be easy to solve. Hyuga Chen felt that he was worrying about eating radish. Sure enough, after a stream of light shot into Hyuga Chen's eyes, the huge pupil power surged, and then calmed down. Hyuga Chen could clearly feel that the power of Kisu in his eyes, although temporarily unavailable, was real. Finally got a good thing. With Suzano and Tenseigen's psychic skills, maybe we can harden the big Senju Buddha of Jinchuriki column. Hyuga Chen couldn't help but yawn. Tenseigen's psychic technique can summon a stone statue that can suppress Kyubi, 9 tails. If it is combined with Suzano to form a costume, Suzano, it should be stronger than Suzano plus Kyubi, 9 tails. With Senpo, Sage Art Mokuden, Wood Style, Shinsasenju Hard, it shouldn't be a problem. Only the last draw is left. Hyuga Chen is not wordy anymore. He is content with getting Suzano anyway. No matter what he draws next time, it doesn't matter. There are more than a dozen items in this lottery roulette, but many items are very pitted. Hyuga-chen was still inside and saw a pancake fruit. Is this a late-night snack for myself? Hyuga-chen groaned, and then clicked on the lottery draw. After turning for half a minute, the pointer stopped, not pointing at the pancake fruit, but the observation hockey that appeared 2 times before. There are you in the 3 lottery draws. It seems that it is difficult to get you in the lottery. Feel the way of using observation hockey and how to practice in your mind. Accepting observation hockey, Hyuga-chen found that he underestimated observation hockey, in addition to enhancing the 5 senses. Observation hockey has cultivated to a profound level, and can even predict what is about to happen and see fragments of the future, which is the 6th sense. This is a bit of a cow, it is simply the nemesis of Zanpakudo Jingwashwayu. But if you want to use it, you must cultivate to a high level, although Hyuga-chen can directly learn what he gets from the system. But it's just learning and being able to use it. Hyuga-chen's current observation hockey is the 1st level. If you want to improve, you must pass training. Exit the lottery page, and then Hyuga-chen saw that there was a character panel in the corner, and then Hyuga-chen reached out and opened it. Host, Hyuga-chen. Age, 3 years old. Bloodstained boundaries. Otsutsuki bloodline, Tenseigen, sage body. Chakra attributes. Wind, thunder, water, fire, earth, yin, yang. Tenseigen abilities. Manipulating repulsion. Tenseigen chakra mode. Golden rebirth blast. Silver reincarnation blast. Psychic art. Chakra extraction. Spirit ball. Manipulating puppets. Time and space manipulation. High heaven, Susano. Ninjutsu. Chakra refining. Rasengan, A** grade. Other abilities. Observation hockey. Equipment. None. The entire panel lists all his abilities, so that Hyuga-chen has a precise understanding of his abilities. The first is the Tenseigen, because of the lack of chakra. In fact, Hyuga-chen doesn't know how much power his Tenseigen has. After this look, Hyuga-chen discovered his own Tenseigen, possessing the Otsutsuki Shirin, and all the abilities of the giant Tenseigen. And the most important thing is which time and space control, although Tenseigen can use space ability, but it is absolutely impossible to control time. Time and space manipulation and Gao Tianyuan should be the unique abilities of Hyuga-chen, which is not surprising. Just like Mangekyo, the awakening pupil technique is basically different. Controlling time and space. If you can really control time and space, even if someone can beat me, they can't kill me. Hyuga-chen murmured. There is also Gao Tianyuan. Hyuga-chen does not know what this ability is, but Gao Tianyuan is the residence of the gods in Japanese mythology, so this ability is definitely not weak. However, Hyuga-chen is not too optimistic. The more powerful the ability, the greater the consumption. No matter how strong the ability is, it is useless if it cannot be used. He is now the best example. If all these abilities are used, whoever will die under the 6 paths, but now Hyuga-chen can only watch it. Chapter 5 Sparkling Fruit. Exit the character panel. Hyuga-chen points to the backpack panel. This Hyuga-chen can guess. After I opened it, I found that the backpack was the same as the backpacks in those online games. As for how many things can be put in a square, Hyuga-chen has not tried it, and I don't know. None of this is important. The important thing is that there is a gift bag in the backpack with the compensation gift bag written on it. Could it be because the system has not emerged in the past 3 years, so I compensated? Hyuga-chen thought to himself. Hyuga-chen didn't ask the system either, and if he asked, he wouldn't necessarily say, it was sent by the system anyway, just open it. A dazzling golden light flashed across Hyuga-chen when he tapped the gift bag, making Hyuga-chen close his eyes. It's such a dazzling light that I almost blinded my titanium alloy Tenseigen, and I don't know what good things are in it. If it's too bad, it will definitely kill the system. Hyuga-chen rubbed his eyes and said, at that moment just now, he was really flashed, 100 times more dazzling than the sun. Rubbing his eyes, Hyuga-chen, who barely opened his eyes, looked at the backpack and found 3 things lying in the backpack. One of them is a yellow fruit with a weird pattern on it. Hyuga-chan is very familiar with it. It is the devil fruit. Seeing the devil fruit, Hyuga-chan's eyes flashed with tangled light. The ability of the devil fruit, Hyuga-chan said that it is impossible not to be jealous, but the weakness of the devil fruit is too great, making Hyuga-chan hesitate. After biting Kiba, Hyuga-chan said, "Let's see what kind of fruit it is. If it's a powerful fruit, eat it. If it's a rubbish animal, just throw it here." Open the backpack, take out the devil fruit, and look at its introduction. All products produced by the system have their own introduction. Glittering fruit perfect version. The glittering fruit has been transformed by the system. It does not have the shortcomings of the traditional devil fruit that is afraid of sea water and sea towers. It has more powerful attack capabilities, and has no conflict with other devil fruits. If you take it again, it will not explode and die. What was he thinking? After seeing the introduction, Hyuga-chan picked up the devil fruit and stuffed it into his mouth. Then Hyuga-chan twitched, and it took a lot of effort to eat it. It's really a misstep to forget how bad the devil fruit is. Hyuga-chan exited the system space, and hurriedly found water to pour down. It was so unpalatable that Hyuga-chan couldn't describe it, and Hyuga-chan calmed down after a long time. In fact, Hyuga-chan didn't notice that there was a small line at the bottom of the introduction of glitter fruit. Note: although its side effects disappeared due to system modification, it also became more unpalatable. At that time, Hyuga-chan was so excited that he didn't see this line of small print at all. Of course, even if Hyuga-chan saw it, he would eat it too. After slowing down, Hyuga-chan raised his hand, and a golden light shone on Hyuga-chan's fingers. Can it only be this level? Yes, I just ate a devil fruit, and I also need to develop it. Now I'm still young and my physique can't keep up. It's good to be able to shine. Looking at a little light in his hand, Hyuga-chan was not discouraged. If he came up, he could use such moves as 8-footed Tomo and light speed kicks, which would be a ghost. I have to say that the glittering fruit of the yellow monkey is really awesome. It is definitely the top 10 devil fruit of the pirates. Now I got it too, and it's still an enhanced version. It will definitely be more powerful than him. Hyuga-chan smiled. Look at other things. Hyuga-chan remembers that there are 3 things in total, and the glittering fruit is only one of them, and the other 2 should not be bad. Without entering the system space, directly open the system backpack and take out the other 2 things. One of them is a Navy 6, and the other is a flashbang, a useless thing. The 6 naval styles are finger gun, iron block, shaving, lanyard foot, moon step, and paper painting. It even includes the return of life, the 6 style profound meaning, the 6 king spear, and the largest wheel in the 6 king spear. The pirate world's physical skills beyond the limits of the human body, although not much used in the later period, are basically replaced by 3-color domineering, but its power is beyond doubt. At least in Hokage, this is a magical skill. What Hyuga-chan cares most about is not the attacking move, but the way to exercise. The method of exercising in Hokage is very rubbish, at least compared to pirates, it is very different. As physical fitness is concerned, the pirates will definitely beat Hokage, even Uchiha Madara, who will also be beaten violently with the Admiral. After all, Hokage relies on chakra to eat, and it is completely incomparable to the pirates who rely on their bodies to eat. This is a difference in worldview. Hokage's taijutsu is different from pirates' taijutsu. Pirates' taijutsu is pure taijutsu, except for animal fruits, there are no bonuses. Hokage's physical skills, but with the addition of chakra, burst out forcibly. So the Navy 6th form is very important to Hyuga-chan. Even if Conqueror's Haki and Armament Haki come, Hyuga-chan will not change. Now refine the chakra first and see how it works. Taking out the chakra refining technique, Hyuga-chan was even more excited than when he was in the lottery. After coming here for 3 years, he finally got to touch the chakra. Thinking of this, Hyuga-chan sat cross-legged on the bed, and after reading the chakra refinement technique, he became calm and thoughtful. Chakra is an energy produced by the perfect fusion of spiritual energy and physical energy. After Hyuga Chen crossed over, but after systematically refining his body, his talents were placed in the Hokage world, and he could also be called a monster. Soon Hyuga Chen mastered the method, extracted a trace of energy from the 130 trillion cells in the human body, and began to grow. After refining the chakra, Hyuga Chen was excited for a while, and then continued to refine the chakra. At this time, the advantages of sage body are reflected. After a night of refining, the chakra in Hyuga-chan's body is already a genin amount. Because he was too excited, Hyuga Chen refined the chakra for a night, and now he can't hold it anymore, and fell down on the bed softly. Yesterday, I trained for 1 day during the day and refined the chakra for another night at night. Even the body of the immortal could not hold on. The refining of chakra is different from the fantasy fairy. 1 night of practice in the fantasy world may be more spiritual, but the refining of chakra is different. To put it bluntly, chakra is obtained by extracting the energy of body cells, and it also needs to be combined with spiritual power. Now Hyuga Chen is tired both physically and mentally. If it wasn't for being a transmigrator, her mental power would have been strong, and Hyuga Chen would have fainted now. You can't work so hard in the future, or you'll be exhausted even if you have a fairy body. Hyuga Chen lay on the bed, not even wanting to eat breakfast. But he still had to eat what he should eat. Hyuga Chen stood up and prepared a hearty breakfast for himself. The 2 adults couldn't finish this breakfast, but Hyuga Chen ate it all in one go. His body's cells were squeezed overnight, just when it was time to replenish energy. Chapter 6 Meeting Sanin as a teenager. After resting in bed for the morning, Hyuga Chen recovered. In fact, his body recovered long ago, but his energy recovery was a little slow. At noon, Hyuga Chen did not cook, but went out to eat a barbecue, and then came to the back mountain again. Now that there are chakras too, it's time to show the power of Tenseigen. No one came from Haoshan, so Hyuga Chen could use it with confidence, not afraid of being seen by others. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen has telescope skills, will he be able to monitor the back mountain? Hokage has so much free time. Bansho Tenon, universal pull. Hyuga Chen shouted loudly, and then a small stone in the distance was grabbed by Hyuga Chen. Looking at the small stone in his hand, Hyuga Chen felt a little embarrassed. He threw the stone in his hand and sat on the ground. Fortunately, no one saw it. It was too embarrassing. Feeling the consumption of 1/10 of the chakra in the body, Hyuga Chen smiled bitterly. This chakra is really worthless. However, the S-rank's ultimate move was used by Hyuga Chen to achieve the effect of D rank. This is also unprecedented, and no one has come since. Actually speaking, this can only be the same as Bansho Tenon, universal pull ability, not Bansho Tenon, universal pull, but Tenseigen's manipulation gravity. It seems that it is still too early to use Tenseigen, and there is no power at all. Hyuga Chen said helplessly. Even if he spends all the chakra, at most the power of sea-level ninjutsu, it is better to use sea-level ninjutsu. With the Great Fireball Jutsu, Hyuga Chen estimated that his chakra could be used 3 times. Hyuga Chen stood up and stared at the front with a serious look. Kaden Fire Style, Great Fireball Jutsu. 4 seals per second, and in more than a second, a large fireball was sprayed out by Hyuga Chen and smashed into a tree. The big tree that was hugged by one person was broken in 2 in an instant, and the raging flames burned, and Hyuga Chen was amazed by the huge power. Although it is incomparable to those ninjutsu who level the village at once, but this is the first time Hyuga Chen has seen the power of ninjutsu in a real sense. What you see in an anime is different from what you see in real life. Next, Hyuga Chen extinguished the flames and began to practice morphological transformation and nature transformation. Shape change is easy to handle. Hyuga Chen will Rasengan, and after a while, the shape change will be completely mastered. Nature transformation is adding attributes to chakra. For example, the great fireball jutsu used by Hyuga-Chen just now is nature transformation with fire attributes added. Nature transformation of the two attributes can become a bloodstain boundary, but there are not many in the entire ninja world. Nature transformation is also easy to control. After all, Hyuga-Chen has all the chakra attributes, and the system has improved his talent, which is an advantage. After that, Hyuga-Chen began to practice chakra control, and wanted to practice chakra control, climbing trees and treading water. There is a small stream in the back mountain, which is just the right time to practice treading water. Although he is very confident in his chakra control, for the sake of safety, Hyuga-Chen practiced simple tree climbing first. The Hyuga family's control of chakra is innate. After all, it is a family that relies on acupuncture points for a living. Isn't the control of chakra a little more accurate? So I climbed the tree once and passed it, and after stepping on the water and falling down a few times, I could easily control it. Now even if the wind is blowing, Hyuga-Chen can also stand on the water steadily. After mastering these basic things, the rest is to practice hard physique and improve chakra. Chakra refining is good for a few hours a day, but physical skills really need coolie. According to the unique method of improving physical fitness among the 6 types of the Navy, Hyuga-Chen started to exercise, every sweat and every gain. While others were still happily playing ninja games, Hyuga-Chen began to practice bitterly. Hyuga-Chen is not envious of other people's fun, he is working so hard now, just for a better life in the future. Don't look at Hyuga-Chen's system, but compared to Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke, he really can't compare. When Hokage ended, they were only 17 years old, and Fuck had the strength of 6 paths. Can this compare? Hyuga-Chen felt that even if he was open, he might not be able to become a 6 paths level powerhouse before the age of 17, and it was still possible to fight against the 6 paths level. Thinking about it at this time, Hyuga-Chen felt that the protagonist was too big, and he couldn't keep up with them even with his own system, which was a shame. It's good to have a strong father. Hyuga-Chen sat on the ground and sighed with emotion. After resting for a while, he began to practice again. At this time, Hyuga-Chen Hua became a desperate Saburo, and the intensity of his practice was even that of a normal physique-type Chunin, which could not be achieved. Time is like water, it will never return, and in a blink of an eye, a year has passed. Today, Hyuga-Chen rarely practiced, but came to the most prosperous street in Konoha, ready to eat a big meal and celebrate. Just yesterday, his chakra reached the level of Jonin, and his other comprehensive qualities, physique, and the purity of chakra, also reached the level of Chunin. Hyuga-Chen also doesn't know what the strength of Hokage is based on, but he guesses it should be the purity of chakra. But that's it, he's also a Chunin now. The 4-year-old Chunin is much stronger than the 6-year-old Kakashi, Hyuga-Chen. Of course, if the Hyuga-Chen is open, it is not as good as Kakashi. Just do and mess with it, and hit it with a piece of tofu. Although Hyuga-Chen is Chunin, it is very easy to hang and beat Jonin. First of all, Hyuga-Chen, whose physical fitness keeps up with the 6th Navy form, can already be used. Tenseign-'s ability to manipulate puppets, extract chakra, read other people's memories, repulsion and gravity can also be easily used. Although Hyuga-Chen has not tried it, but relying on repulsion to block A*grade ninjutsu, there should be no problem, and it is even easier to fly Jonin. The most important thing is the glittering fruit. Now Hyuga-Chen can be partially elementalized, and laser can be used, but the power is a little small. However, the speed of the laser is fast, and with its unexpected speed, even cage-level powerhouses may be attacked. Hyuga-Chen was walking, and suddenly saw 3 familiar figures. Is this Sanin in his youth? Tsunade's cow chariot is not that big now. Hyuga-Chen said softly. Little devil, what are you looking at? Tsunade is now an elite Jonin, very sensitive to other people's eyes. Hyuga-Chen has been staring at Tsunade's chest. Tsunade can sense it naturally. If it wasn't for seeing Hyuga-Chen as a child, the grumpy Tsunade would have stepped forward to beat him. Nothing. Hyuga-chan pouted in disdain, then turned to leave. Ha ha ha. This kid thinks your chest is too small. Jiraiya said mortally. Boom. The ground cracked open and cracked, and the surrounding civilians quickly dispersed. Jiraiya swallowed his saliva and sweated on his forehead. Orochimaru, who had been watching from the sidelines, twitched the corners of his mouth a few times. What did you say? Tsunade stared at Jiraiya viciously. Chapter 7 Orochimaru's Note. Hearing the movement, Hyuga-chan also turned his head and looked at Tsunade's feet. The cracks were like spider webs. Hyuga-chan looked at it. It should be 10 meters in diameter. It's really violent. If I get hit, I'll definitely be maimed. Hyuga-chan wiped the cold sweat that didn't exist on his face. Although Hyuga-chan practiced taijutsu as a whole, and also had a training collection such as the 6 forms of the Navy, but due to age restrictions, taijutsu alone could not attack such a powerful attack. And Hyuga-chan knew that Tsunade didn't use his full strength, and he didn't know how strong Tsunade would be if he did his best. Jiraiya with pity, Hyuga-chan is going to sneak away first, but now he can't provoke others, let's talk about it later when he is strong. Tsunade, that kid who taunted you, is leaving now. Jiraiya, who was stared at by Tsunade with a cold sweat, was very unscrupulous, and used Hyuga-chan as a shield. Hyuga-chan's footsteps were stagnant, and if he could, he would like to strangle Jiraiya now. This uncle, when have I ever ridiculed a beautiful sister? I just sighed, how could such a beautiful sister go with you, an ugly one? Since Jiraiya has no integrity, Hyuga-chan is not merciful, anyway, he knows Jiraiya and knows that he will not be angry. When Jiraiya heard the words, the whole person turned gray, uncle and ugly, constantly passing through his mind. PFF'd. Tsunade smiled. Then he walked to Hyuga-chan's side, reached out and squeezed Hyuga-chan's face. Which child are you? You can speak quite well. Resisting the discomfort of being pinched, Hyuga-chan Meng said, what I said is the truth. My sister is the most beautiful girl I have ever seen. Hyuga-chan Dao didn't lie about this, although Tsunade is now a pair of A, but the appearance did not say, it is definitely the most beautiful Hyuga-chan has ever seen in the past life and this life. My sister likes you the most, honest child. Tsunade said happily. Child, Hyuga-chan was the first person to praise her for her beauty. Although Tsunade behaved like a girl, what girl doesn't like others to praise her beauty? Hee tilde. Hyuga-chan's mouth twitched where Tsunade couldn't see it. She was really not humble at all. Jiraiya recovered from the petrification state and said angrily, Tsunade, don't be deceived, this kid is full of lies and not honest at all. He is only 14 years old now, and he is very unhappy with Hyuga-chan's uncle. And Jiraiya asked herself that she was not bad looking. This kid called him ugly. Although Jiraiya wouldn't care about Hyuga-chan, she was still very upset. Oh tilde then this uncle, if you say I'm lying, don't you think my sister is not pretty? Hyuga-chan asked with a smile. Hearing this, Tsunade's happy face changed instantly, his face was cloudy, and he looked at Jiraiya coldly. Jiraiya looked at Tsunade's icy gaze, and Hyuga-chan's smug gaze, wanting to cry without tears. Unexpectedly, he was actually put out by a child. At this time, Jiraiya doubted his IQ. Uncle Snake, who was silent for a while and had a weak sense of existence, said in a cold voice, idiot. This idiot sentence is very appropriate. When Orochimaru called him an idiot, he would refute it loudly. This time, he surprisingly did not refute, but fell into silence. Now Jiraiya is doubting life, wondering if he is really an idiot, otherwise he can't even fight a kid. Jiraiya, stop acting stupid, what did you just say? Tsunade's hair was floating. Jiraiya wakes up and looks at the furious Tsunade with a bitter smile on her face. I have to go on a mission tomorrow, can you beat me lightly? Jiraiya swallowed her saliva and said with difficulty. Tilde, what do you think? Tsunade had a sneer on his face. Sister, just let this uncle go. I don't think he's pretending to be stupid. Hyuga-chan came over and pulled Tsunade's arm. When Jiraiya saw Hyuga-chan talking to herself, her face showed gratitude. It seems that this kid is not too annoying, Jiraiya thought to herself. However, Jiraiya's conclusion was too early. Before he could express his gratitude, Hyuga-chan's words made his expression froze. I think he is really stupid, not pretending to be stupid. This IQ is in arrears and should be recharged. PFF'd. Hyugatatsu's words made Tsunade laugh again, reaching out and rubbing Hyugatatsu's head. This little guy, his hair is really smooth, and it feels good to knead it. Tsunade said secretly. Hyuga-chan felt a little unhappy, although he just pretended to be tender and cute, and his body also looked like a 4-year-old, but this could not deny that he was already an adult. Being touched like this, even if the person touching her head was a beautiful woman, Hyuga-chan was also very upset. Hee, it's really interesting. It seemed that Hyuga-tatsu glanced, and Orochimaru's eyes flashed a little. Tsunade's aura just burst out. Even the elite genin would shiver with fright, but Hyuga-chan didn't feel anything wrong, which caught the attention of the careful Orochimaru. Hyuga-chan didn't know either. Because of this, Orochimaru's attention was drawn. Just know, Hyuga-chan won't care. The current Orochimaru is not the future Orochimaru. The current Orochimaru doesn't talk about sunshine, but it's not so gloomy, and at this time Orochimaru has not conducted research, and has a strong sense of belonging to the village. Even if Orochimaru really shot Hyuga-chan, Hyuga-chan is not afraid. Although Orochimaru can't beat Orochimaru, Orochimaru also don't want to take him. With tears of noodles on her face, Jiraiya ran to the corner tower to draw circles, obviously being hit hard by Hyuga-chan. I was originally ugly, but now I'm a toad. Looking at Jiraiya, Hyuga-chan continued to speak viciously. Ah tilde stinky brat, I'm going to duel with you. Jiraiya stood up angrily. Haha tilde. Hyuga-chan laughed sarcastically, looking at Jiraiya with an idiot expression. Tsunade and Orochimaru, like Hyuga-tatsu, looked at Jiraiya like idiots. What's wrong with you? Jiraiya asked in confusion. Idiot. Duel with a child, Jiraiya, you really have a face. Tsunade glared at Jiraiya. It was only at this time that Jiraiya remembered that Hyuga-chan was just a child, fighting a duel with a child. If he wins, he will bully the child. If he loses, he will be worse than a child. Then his Jiraiya's face will be humiliated and thrown to other ninja villages. And most importantly, his teacher, Sarutobi Hiruzen, will be embarrassed along with him. Chapter 8 Tsunade, please eat. It's a shame to have a teammate like you. Jiraiya, Orochimaru said lightly. That's right. Your reputation is not good. If you add the crime of bullying children, you will become a rat crossing the street, and everyone will shout and beat you. Tsunade said jokingly. Hyuga-chan also held his arms and looked at Jiraiya with a dull expression. In fact, if he really duels with Jiraiya, Hyuga-chan is sure to defeat him. Jiraiya's current strength is worse than Orochimaru and Tsunade. If Tsunade is the strength of the elite Jonin, Orochimaru is the strength close to the quasi-shadow, and Jiraiya is also the strength of Jonin. This is not to belittle Jiraiya. If it is in the future, Jiraiya with Sage Mode may be the strongest fighting force among Sannin. But the current Jiraiya has not yet gone to Mount Myoboku, the 3 holy places, and its own qualifications are not comparable to Orochimaru and Tsunade, so it is indeed a bit weak. He now has the strength of Jonin, and he still relies on hard training. Compared with Orochimaru and Tsunade, Jiraiya, who is smiling on the surface, may have put more effort behind the scenes. Jiraiya is one of the most important characters in Hokage. It can be said that without Jiraiya, there would be no future Naruto. Jiraiya and Iruka are definitely the 2 most important people to Naruto. After talking for so long, what's your name that you don't know yet? Tsunade turned to look at Hyuga-chan and asked. Beautiful sister, my name is Hyuga-chan. Hyuga-chan said with a smile. Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then looked at Hyuga-chan's azure blue eyes, The stars were flowing in them, so gorgeous, Tsunade almost got lost in it. Sister, what's wrong with you? Hyuga-chen pulled Tsunade with his hand. Tsunade came back to his senses, smiled and said, "It's nothing, little brother, your eyes are so beautiful, I'm fascinated by my sister." Little brother, Hyuga-chen said with a black line on his face. Orochimaru looked into Hyugatatsu's eyes with a thoughtful expression. Just now, Orochimaru looked into Hyugatatsu's eyes and sensed a hint of danger from it. Taking a deep look at Hyuga-chen, Orochimaru kept his mouth shut and became more interested in Hyuga-chen. If Hyuga-chen knew that pervert, Orochimaru, was thinking of him, he would definitely feel the chills. "Since you've introduced yourself, let's introduce ourselves too," Tsunade said with a smile. "There's no need for Tsunade, I think he already knows who we are." The vertical pupils in Orochimaru's eyes stared at Hyuga-chen. Hyuga-chen was stunned for a moment, then said, "Yes, I do know you. After all, I am a disciple of Hokage. No one in Konoha does not know you. Especially Princess Tsunade. You know us, kid. Knowing our identities makes me so embarrassed, kid, you're dead." Jiraiya said threateningly to Hyuga-chen. "Sister Tsunade, this ugly uncle threatens me," Hyuga-chen said while hiding behind Tsunade. When Jiraiya saw Tsunade's gaze swept over, she immediately persuaded. "Little devil, you said your name is Hyuga-chen, you are a member of the Hyuga clan. As the Hyuga clan, there is no Byakugan, you are the trash that the Hyuga clan said, there is no Byakugan," Jiraiya said without hesitation. "Jiraiya," Tsunade's voice increased a little. At this time, Jiraiya reacted and quickly apologized to Hyuga-chen. He was always open-mouthed, but in fact he had no malicious intentions. "It's okay, I don't care about this, time will tell." Hyuga-chen was not angry at all. He knows his own situation, Hyuga-chen doesn't care too much about what others say, as he said, time will tell. "I didn't expect you to have such a good mentality. If someone said that to me, I would have punched him to death," Tsunade said and made a fist at Jiraiya. In a good mood. Ha tilde. This is the bottom line, that no one touches Hyuga-chen. Hyuga-chen used to be a good gentleman. As long as his own interests are not affected, Hyuga-chen will smile and say yes. But once someone moves his interests, Hyuga-chen will definitely blow up. "It happens that we are going to the barbecue shop to eat, why don't you come with us, my sister, I will treat you," Tsunade invited with a smile. Tsunade is still very fond of Hyuga-chen, who is as old as her brother and gives her a sense of closeness. "Okay," Hyuga-chen agreed with a smile. "There is a free lunch, just don't eat for nothing, just to save some money." To be honest, Hyuga-chen is now a little nervous about the economy, and cultivating the sixth form of the navy consumes too much. Hyuga-chen is now a rice bucket. Addition, Hyuga-chen has to eat well to ensure his nutrition, so this money is like running water, which is rapidly consumed. Jiraiya burst into tears, and every time he eats, he actually has to pay for it. Tsunade loves gambling, and he is a big fat sheep with a lot of money. This guy, Orochimaru, is also an iron cock, so every time he has a dinner party, half of the money Jiraiya is going to drink the flower wine will disappear. "Fortunately, I'm just a child, so I can't eat much," Jiraiya comforted herself in her heart. They came to the barbecue restaurant. The owner saw the Tsunade three and greeted them with a smile. "It turns out to be a disciple of Hokage. You guys come here often, and this time I'll give you a 30% discount," the boss said boldly. "Thank you, boss." Jiraiya expressed her great gratitude and gave a 30% discount. "Is it necessary to leave some extra money?" "You're welcome, after all, you are all regulars," the boss said with a smile. But after a while, the boss couldn't laugh anymore. After finding a place to sit down, Jiraiya said proudly, "Whatever you want to eat, little brat, just order it, and I'll pay the bill." "That's what you said, the boss will serve 10 plates of roast meat first, and then ask for it after eating." "Kid, we people, 10 plates of barbecue are not enough. Jiraiya said with a smile. I think you misunderstood. I ordered these 10 plates of grilled meat for myself. If you want to eat it, order it yourself. Hyuga-chen glanced at Jiraiya and said. What? You can eat 10 plates of roast meat, and you're not afraid of being stretched to death. Jiraiya jumped up. Xiaochen, don't order so much if you can't eat it. Tsunade followed suit. Don't worry, these are just sprinkles, appetizers. As Hyuga-chen said that, he put the barbecue on the grill. Little devil, if you can't eat, I'll let you go with Kabuto. Although the barbecue here is delicious, it is very expensive. A plate of barbecue is 1,000 taels, and 10 plates of 10,000 taels go out. Okay, after eating, I'll go with Kabuto. Tsukiba smiled, and Hyuga-chen started to fry the barbecue. Tsunade, the three of them, also ordered 10 plates of yakiniku and 2 pots of sake by the way. Chapter 9 Hyuga Hazashi. Hiccup. The food is not bad, thank you for entertaining Uncle Jiraiya. Hyuga-chen said with a burp. Looking at the stack of tall plates, Jiraiya's mouth twitched, and blood was dripping in her heart. Xiao-chen, if you eat so much, won't you be able to last? Tsunade asked in disbelief. She couldn't imagine how Hyuga-chen, who was only 4 years old, could eat so much food without her stomach bulging at all. Orochimaru sat beside him quietly as a handsome man. He didn't pay the bill anyway, he didn't care how much he ate. Not to mention, Orochimaru is quite handsome now, but the skin is too pale. Don't worry, Tsunade's sister. Hyuga-chen waved his hand. This is the method recorded in the 6 naval styles, which can quickly consume food energy and strengthen himself. You kid is really a monster. Jiraiya scolded secretly, and then handed over the money in tears. Half of the reward for this mission was included. The owner of the barbecue restaurant is also bleeding in his heart. Although he can't say he lost, he didn't make much money. Since I've finished eating, I won't disturb Tsunade's sister. I'm leaving. The sky was already getting dark, and it was already evening in the blink of an eye. Looking at Hyuga-chen's back, Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly and said, this kid from the Hyuga family is definitely not easy. Isn't it just eating a lot? What's not easy? Jiraiya is still distressed about her wallet. Idiot, Orochimaru said coldly, then turned to leave. Bastard Orochimaru, who are you calling an idiot? Stop me. Jiraiya chased after him angrily. Tsunade ignored the two of them and looked at Hyuga-chen's back thoughtfully. She had felt a familiar aura on Hyuga-chen before. Now she finally remembered that the smell was very similar to her grandfather Senju Hashirama. Forget it. I'm disdainful, but this little guy is really cute, much better than Naoki's stupid brother. Tsunade's eyes flashed doting as he said Naoki. Glancing at Hyuga-chen's back again, Tsunade turned back to the Senju clan's quarters. I didn't expect to meet Sanin when I was a teenager. It's really interesting, Hyuga-chen said with a smile. He didn't expect that he would meet Sanin on the street, but he ate a barbecue for nothing and got to know Sanin well, which is not bad. Back at the Hyuga family, when passing the training ground, I suddenly remembered a sound. The sun is about to go down. Is there still someone training? It's really hard work. Go and see. Hyuga-chen paused, then turned a corner and walked towards the training ground of the Hyuga family. It turned out to be Hazashi. I didn't expect you to work so hard. It's already dark, and you're still training here. Looking at the familiar figure, Hyuga-chen said with a smile. Hyuga Hazashi turned his head and glanced at Hyuga-chen, and then continued to train towards the stake, with chakra wrapped around his palm. Obviously chakra has been extracted. Looking at your appearance, it's more like venting your dissatisfaction. Hyuga-chen smiled. Hyuga Hazashi turned his head sharply, staring at Hyuga-chen. It's none of your business. You're just a piece of shit. You don't even have a Byakugan in your family, and you don't deserve the name Hyuga at all. Looking at Hyuga-chen's clean forehead, Hyuga Hazashi's eyes flashed with a hint of envy. Although Hyuga Hazashi quickly put it away, it was still noticed by Hyuga-chen, who had sharp eyes. It's very tough on the outside, but it's just a cover-up of your inner fragility. The word serenity is very suitable for you. Hyuga-chen said sarcastically. Enough. You, a guy who doesn't even have Byakugan, has no right to say that I am a worthless waste like you who doesn't know me at all. Hyuga Hazashi clenched his fists and growled. He's not that scumbag Hyuga. As the son of the patriarch, he naturally knows what a caged bird is. He is very envious of Hyuga-chen. Even though Hyuga-chen is in the eyes of all the Hyuga family, he is just a trash with impure blood, not even Byakugan. But if possible, Hyuga Hazashi really wants to exchange with him. From the time he was engraved with the caged bird spell, Hyuga Hazashi knew that his own destiny could no longer be controlled by himself. It has been a year, and he has been suffering for a year. A few days ago, he finally got the chakra refining technique. He wanted to save his destiny by practicing hard. Tisk tisk, I really don't know you, but I know you are very inferior now. After saying this, Hyuga-chen stopped talking nonsense with him. He has more important things to do. No time and listen to Hyuga Hazashi here to complain. The reason why Hyuga-chen didn't practice today is not only to celebrate his breakthrough in strength, but more importantly, today is his birthday. Although no one remembers his birthday, Hyuga-chen remembers it himself. In a few hours, he will really be 4 years old. At that time, the system will present another lucky draw opportunity and 10,000 redemption points. After a year of research, he found that apart from waiting for the system to give it away, he couldn't get the exchange points at all, because the system had no tasks. There is no other way to get exchange points. This has advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that you don't have to be a slave to the system and run around for tasks all day long. The downside is that there is no way to get exchange points, and you can only wait for the system to give it away every year. Rely on exchanging Hyuga-chen. At that point, I can't exchange anything at all, I can only watch the lottery. Hyuga-chen walked towards his house. Hyuga Hazashi behind him was angry. He felt that Hyuga-chen came here just to laugh at him. So angry Hyuga Hazashi, no matter what, raised his fist and hit Hyuga-chen's back. Of course, Hyuga Hazashi was not carried away by anger and did not use chakra. Hyuga-chen was heading for the lottery and didn't pay attention to Hyuga Hazashi behind him, so he was punched in the back. With a sound of touch, Hyuga-chen came back to his senses, then turned his head to look at Hyuga Hazashi. Did you just hit me? Hyuga Hazashi's face turned Yuhi's face, and he put Yuhi's fist behind his back, not wanting Hyuga-chen to see it. This fist, Hyuga Hazashi felt that he was hitting the iron plate, endured the pain with all his strength, and didn't dare to make a sound at all. He was afraid that he would open his mouth, so he couldn't help screaming. It's really embarrassing to punch someone else and hurt yourself. Hyuga-chen chuckled, and then said, since you punched me, should I return the punch to you too? Saying that, Hyuga-chen raised his fist, posing for a fight. Chapter 10 This draw is invalid, please try again. Hyuga Hazashi took a few steps back in fear, then felt a little embarrassed, scratched his neck, and looked up at Hyuga-chen. If it wasn't for Hyuga Hazashi's trembling legs, Hyuga-chen wouldn't even think he was afraid. Forget it. Hyuga-chen put down his fists. He didn't have the same knowledge as this little brat, and if he hit him hard, it would be bad if his father didn't know him, and he didn't know his father either. What? You ask him why he doesn't know his father. If your brain is broken, you will not know your father. Don't be complacent. When I learn the gentle fist method, I will definitely avenge today's revenge. Seeing Hyuga-chen leave, Hyuga Hazashi shouted again. Damn it. Take revenge on me. Did you make a mistake? It's obvious that you hit me first. It's good that I don't care about you. You arrogant child still wants to take revenge. Hyuga-chen, who hadn't gone far, turned around immediately and walked back aggressively. Looks like I have to teach you a lesson. Be careful, I'm going to hit hard. Hyuga-chen squeezed his fists with a sneer on his face. What are you going to do? Hyuga Hazashi took 2 steps back and looked at Hyuga-chen in fear. I want to teach you a truth. This truth is that face is worthless. Look at you, because if you want to get back a little face, you have to be beaten up. It's not worth it. After he finished speaking, Hyuga-chen punched him at a speed so fast that Hyuga Hazashi, a 4-year-old child, could not escape. Bump, bump, bump. A few muffled noises, Hyuga-chen left gracefully. Hyuga Hazashi lay on the ground, crying sadly. Right, Hyuga-chen, who had just walked a few steps, turned his head and looked at Hyuga Hazashi, who had been beaten into a big head doll, and threatened, when I go back, I will say that I accidentally fell, or I will hit you once I see you. Hazashi, who was afraid that Hyuga-chen would turn his head and beat him again, heaved a sigh of relief. Did you hear that? Hyuga Hazashi shuddered, and then said with a cry, I see. He hadn't thought about telling this shameful thing. After all, it was too shameful to be beaten by a rubbish recognized by the Hyuga family. Hyuga-chen nodded with satisfaction. He found that bullying a child felt good. I really fell. Hyuga-chen sighed with emotion. Seeing that Hyuga-chen completely disappeared in the training ground, Hyuga Hazashi cried out with a wow. Just now, for the sake of face, he restrained himself from making a sound. Now that there is no one, Hyuga Hazashi burst into tears. Although he had left the training ground, Hyuga Tatsu, who owns Observation Hockey, still heard Hyuga Hazashi's cry. You have to face the crime, you're scared to death, and you dare to say harsh words, you deserve to be beaten. Back at home, Hyuga-chen began to bathe and burn incense, hoping for better luck today. Although Hyuga-chen also knows that it is useless, it is good to give yourself a little comfort and let yourself feel ordinary. Although I don't lack anything now, if I can get an artifact that lasts every second, or some kind of ability that defies the sky, I'll be truly invincible in the future. Hyuga-chen rubbed her hands and muttered while sitting on the bed. Now he has enough abilities and enough, as long as they all grow to their peaks, not to mention defeating Kagaya-hime, but a tie is an easy matter. Closing his eyes, the fluctuations in Ordinary's heart returned to a state of calm. In this state, Hyuga-chen found that every move around him, the rhythm of the air, the breath of insects, all appeared in Hyuga-chen's mind. And this range is still expanding. After half an hour, the entire Hyuga family, so the breath of people and creatures, all came to Hyuga-chen's mind. After a long time, Hyuga-chen finally opened his eyes, and the faint blue eyes shone with a bright light, which was very dazzling in this dark night. I didn't expect that Observation Hockey, who has not improved all the time, has actually improved. This is also an unexpected joy. Hyuga-chen also showed a smile on his face. Observation Hockey, the best place to exercise, is actually in the middle of a battle, at the most critical moment, to stimulate the potential of the human body and improve Observation Hockey. Therefore, this promotion made Hyuga-chen very surprised, and of course it was a surprise. The current Observation Hockey is really not very useful to Hyuga-chen. It's time for the lottery. Hyuga-chen communicated with the system, and then entered the system space, without calling the system, and directly clicked on the lottery page. Then click on the lottery. As before, if you want to draw a lottery, you need to press twice. The first time is to select the items on the roulette, and the second time is to draw your own prize in the roulette. There are 10 prizes in total. They are Bloodstain Mokuden, Wood Style, Golden Treasure of the King, Bear Fruit of Animals, Thunder Fruit of Nature, Perfect Version, Sword of My King's Oath of Victory. The Time and Space of the Last Millennium Beast, Bloodstained Limit Yoden, Lava Style, Zanpakudo Shubaishui, Armament Hockey, Bengyu. Hyuga-chen was dumbfounded, but there were also a few pits. Like the Golden Treasure of the King, it is not connected to the Golden Capital, and it is empty inside. What is the use of drawing this thing? Is it used to hold B? And that Raging Fruit is not as good as the Treasure of the King. Even if the Treasure of the King is abandoned, it still has its own special effects. Everything else is fine, but what makes Hyuga-chan's heart move the most is the time and space of the skills of Benyu and the End Millennium Beast. Needless to say, Benyu, the bug in the God of Death, get the Benyu, Hyuga-chen can be free to wave. Time and space are disordered, and it is even more awesome. It can traverse all the time and space, and it can kill me and count me as a loser. Hyuga-chen, who thought he had enough abilities, couldn't help showing a greedy look, which made him too greedy. With excitement, Hyuga-chen pressed the draw button again. After pressing the button, the originally excited Hyuga-chen calmed down surprisingly. The pointer slowly stopped, and to Hyuga-chan's surprise, the pointer pointed to the black line in the middle of Armament Haki and Benyu. Hyuga-chen suddenly became excited. According to the rules of the system, these two were his own. Hyuga-chen jumped up happily. With Benyu, who am I still afraid of? Ha ha ha. Hyuga-chan's calm just now could no longer be maintained, and he laughed wildly. But there are no good things when people are happy. Dogs are happy with a pot of soup, and rabbits are happy with a shot. The system that had been silent suddenly popped up. There is an error in the lottery. This lottery is invalid. Please host the lottery again. Hyuga-chan's smile suddenly froze. Life is such a big ups and downs. He was swimming in the sky just now, and now, in the blink of an eye, he was kicked into the ground by the system. Come out to me in the system, I promise not to kill you. Hyuga-chen bit Kiba and said. Chapter 11 King's Treasure, 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. The system remained silent. I don't care, this matter has to be compensated for, otherwise. Hyuga-chen was embarrassed to find that he couldn't do anything about the system at all. It's your fault this time, you have to make up for it. Hyuga-chen had no choice but to ask for something because his system didn't play cards according to the routine. After a year of understanding, Hyuga-chen knew that his system was very rigid, and he had no intelligence at all, let alone feelings. If he wanted to reason with it and play emotional cards, it would not work at all. So Hyuga-chen directly caught its mistake. Anyway, this time it was indeed the system's fault. The host is justified. 1 reward compensation package, 100,000 exchange points, 1 chance to draw a lottery. Only then did Hyuga-chen nodded in satisfaction, and did not argue with the system anymore. It was not bad to be able to get these things, but even if the system didn't give anything, he had nothing to do, and people had to know how to be content. Let's draw again. The prize was not changed, the pointer began to gallop, and soon slowed down. This time, nothing happened before, but stopped on the treasure of Wangji. A golden key appeared in Hyuga-chan's hand. Hyuga-chen opened the treasure of the king, the golden light shone, and it seemed to be full, but there was nothing inside. This thing, now it's a waste, it can be used as a storage room at most. Hyuga-chen complained. He also needs a systematic backpack, so even if it is a storage room, he is not qualified. Keep it. It may be useful in the future. Hyuga-chen put away the key, and then clicked the lottery draw. The system compensated for a chance to draw a lottery, no need to use it for nothing. The prizes are refreshed again, with a total of 6 items, namely, Hitamitsu Tsukuyomi, Mystery Body Art 80 Gods Vacuum Attack, Swordsman Level Swordsmanship, Impure World Reincarnation Technique, Hitamitsu Yomatsu Hirasaka, Zanpakudo Senbon Sakura. This time Hyuga-chen is happy, even the worst swordsmanship level in the swordsmanship, it is also very useful to Hyuga-chen. Hurry up and click on the draw, the pointer spins rapidly, then stops, and stops on the 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. Stream of light disappeared into Hyuga-chen's mind. 80 Gods Vacuum Attack had been initially learned by Hyuga-chen. However, learning can't be used, not to mention the consumption of chakra. This trick belongs to Kekemura, and it can't be used at all now. Although I don't know how strong the 8 inner gates, Night Guy is, it will definitely not surpass 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. Hyuga-chen said silently. Exiting the lottery page, Hyuga-chen went to check the compensation package of the system. According to what was opened last time, it would not be bad this time. Opening the gift bag this time, Hyuga-chen learned to be smart, and quickly closed his eyes, afraid of being hit by the dazzling golden light. 2 or 3 seconds later, Hyuga-chen opened his eyes, and there were still 3 items, one for injection, one for armament hockey, and the rest was a box of canned beef. Ignoring the canned beef, and armament hockey, whom he was familiar with, Hyuga-chen looked at the injection medicine. Super Serum, system-modified version, it can increase physical performance tenfold without side effects. Introduction is very short, but Hyuga-chen already knows what this is. Isn't this the serum injected by Captain America? Hyuga-chen felt a little disappointed. Although the serum was also very strong, it was still far from Hyuga-chen's expectations. Host, remind you that this serum has been systematically modified. As long as you do not break through the 6 paths realm, you can increase your physical fitness tenfold. Hyuga-chen's eyes lit up, so he was a bit pervert. Is that at the Super Shadow level? With his physical skills, he can be tough with 6 paths level characters. Thinking of this, Hyuga-chen hurriedly put the serum back and kept it for later use. Although it is good for a while, it can't play the maximum effect of the serum. After that, Hyuga-chen opened the system store and bought the Shadow Clone Technique and multiple Shadow Clone Techniques. The Shadow Clone Technique cost 30,000 exchange points, and the multiple Shadow Clone Technique cost 50,000 exchange points. If it wasn't for the compensation from the system, Hyuga-chen couldn't afford it at all. I feel that this mall is just a decoration. The things sold are too expensive, and the exchange points are too few. Looking at the price in the mall, Hyuga-chen said with a spit. Armament hockey. Hyuga-chen exited the system space, and did not intend to cultivate, lying on the bed to sleep. He slept until the sun rose, and the warm sunlight shone on Hyuga-chen's handsome cheeks. Hyuga-chen rubbed his eyes, then sat up and looked at the time. It was past 9 o'clock. It seems that you can't relax. Once you relax, you will become lazy. The past, when I was training all day, Hyuga-chen would get up before 6 o'clock. Yesterday, I relaxed for the whole day, but I got angry even later. After getting up quickly, and after washing, Hyuga-chen didn't want to cook anymore, so he took out the canned beef from the system compensation package yesterday. Hyuga-chen ate 5 cans in a row, patted his stomach, changed into training clothes, and held the purchased kunai and shuriken. He tied a specially made lead block to his body, pushed open the door and walked out. Sun shone on Hyuga-chen's face, causing Hyuga-chen to narrow his eyes, and a hint of laziness flashed in his eyes. Alas, if I can, I really want to have a good rest. Hyuga-chen, I didn't expect you to get up so late. It's a shame. How can you be so slack if you want to become a powerful ninja? In the yard, Hyuga Iron Plate playing ninja games with a group of Hyuga's little kids, after seeing Hyuga-chen, came over and said, "By the way, why are you not at home all the time? I want to find you to play ninja games, but I can't find it." Hyuga Iron Plate complained to himself. "We don't want to play with him. Mom said that he is a waste, and we won't let us play with him." The child next to him retorted. Hyuga was a little embarrassed. One was his partner who played with him, and the other was his younger brother, thinks himself, and he felt very uncomfortable. After thinking about it, Hyuga Iron Plate still chose a small partner. Hyuga-chen smiled. He wouldn't care about these children. It's been 26 years of Konoha now. The Second Ninja World War happened in the 32 years of Konoha, that is, there are still 6 years. At that time, they were just graduating from the ninja school. If the battle in Konoha was tight, they might also be sent to the battlefield, and whether they could survive at that time was a question. Now Hyuga-chen wants to quickly improve his strength. In the Ninja World War, even the strength of the elite Jonin is only enough to protect himself. Cage level can control the situation of a battle, so Hyuga-chen wants to break through to cage level before the Second Ninja World War begins. Old cage level looks exaggerated, but for Hyuga-chen, it is not impossible. Uchiha Itachi can have cage level strength at the age of 13. And with Pervert, sage body quality, he is more talented than Itachi, so Hyuga-chen is confident. Chapter 12 Practicing Hard. Hyuga-chen left the Hyuga family and came to the back mountain again. Shadow Clone Technique. Hyuga-chen held the hand seal with both hands and performed the Shadow Clone Technique. With a bang, two figures identical to Hyuga-chen appeared next to Hyuga-chen. You go to practice the sixth form of the Navy, you go to study the 80 Gods Vacuum Attack, and strive to simplify the 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. Hyuga-chen ordered. 80 Gods Vacuum Attack must have Kekemora in order to use it, and Kekemora, which combines the 7 chakra attributes. The current Hyuga-chen definitely can't do it, can only find a way to simplify the 80 Gods Vacuum Attack, otherwise it can only be left. As for Hyuga-chen himself, he started exercising and developing and using glitter fruit. Although Shadow Clone can speed up training, it can only practice ninjutsu, and it is impossible to exercise. Glitter fruit can only be used by Hyuga-chen himself. Shadow Clone cannot be used. This Hyuga-chen has already tried it. Fortunately, I have seen pirates, and compared with Kyabu's moves, it is relatively easy to develop glittering fruits. Half of Hyuga-chan's body has become a photon, and now Hyuga-chen can't elementalize his whole body, and needs constant practice. However, Hyuga-chen believes that in 10 days, he will be able to control the elementalization, and in this era, he will be basically invincible. According to Hyuga-chen's speculation, Gudodama truth-seeking ball and Yin-Yang Dun should be able to restrain elementalization, but I don't know if Sage Art Chakra is possible. There's also Rinnegan's gravity, which is also the nemesis of light. But at this time, as long as the hidden Uchiha Madara does not shoot him, the elementalization is basically invincible. After developing the glittering fruit, Hyuga-chen discovered that using chakra can also stimulate the glittering fruit. This discovery made Hyuga-chen a little surprised. Laser. A beam of light, Jinchuriki column, shot forward, pierced through several trees, and hit a large boulder. Boom! With a loud noise, the man-high bluestone was turned into pieces. Tisk tisk tilde tilde. This power is not even comparable to Rasengan. Hyuga-chen looked at this power and smacked his lips. If Hyuga-chen gathers more photons, the power will be further enhanced. If Kizaru was put into Hokage, what kind of power would it be? Hyuga-chen couldn't help thinking. This Hyuga-chen doesn't know either. If he guesses, he should have the strength in the early stage of Chaoying, definitely stronger than cage level. The 3-generation-old man is definitely not the opponent of Kyabu. This is not to degrade the combat effectiveness of Hokage and raise the combat effectiveness of pirates. Kizaru is already standing at the top of the pirates, and the ones who can hold down the pirates are the 4 emperors, Garp, and the 5 old stars, and they are the ones who hold down the pirates, so they can win with absolute certainty. Therefore, according to Hyuga-chen's speculation, Whitebeard should be similar to Uchiha Madara without Rinnegan, and the 5 old stars, Garp, Cyborg Kong, etc. are basically at this level. Even if you raise it higher, that is, if you fight Senju Hashirama who uses Sage Art, you will definitely not be able to beat a 6 paths level character. But looking at it this way, there are really many awesome characters in the pirates. If you remove the 6 paths level, the pirates can definitely beat Hokage. Training all morning, Hyuga-chen lay on the ground like a dead dog, and practiced for half an hour before finally recovering. Shadow Clone Technique was lifted, and a sense of exhaustion struck, but Hyuga-chen could still bear it, but 2 Shadow Clones, he could still bear it. After practicing for a while, Hyuga-chen took out 2 cans of beef, and the dry food he brought at home, and put them on the stone, and then Hyuga-chen took out a handful of kunai. He took it in his hand and turned it twice, and then Hyuga-chen threw it out. Under the powerful force of Hyuga-chen, Kuei pierced the tree and hit the rabbit that was grazing 100 meters away. Manipulate gravity, pull the dead rabbit over, then skillfully peel it, set it on fire, and then thread it up with branches and roast it on the fire. Due to financial constraints, Hyuga-chan often hunts game and relies on it for a long time, and his barbecue skills will definitely crush anyone. After eating, Hyuga-chan began to train hard again. This time Hyuga-chan divided 10 shadow clone, 3 to practice Navy 6 forms. All that's left is to study the 80 gods vacuum attack. And Hyuga-chan did not develop the glittering fruit, but started exercising. He did 500 push-ups first, then walked to a big tree with 4 people hugging each other. Hyuga-chan started to strike. Every punch and every kick made the tree vibrate. The bark of this tree has fallen off cleanly, and there are a lot of fist prints and footprints printed on it. Ignoring the blood on his fists and the sweat on his face, Hyuga-chan began to train hard. If you want to become a strong man without bleeding or sweating, where is it so easy to succeed? Hyuga-chan always believes that no effort, no harvest. After all the hard work, another day has passed. In the evening, Hyuga-chan released Shadow Clone, endured mental fatigue, dragged his tired body, and walked towards home. The yuhi-colored sunset reflected the figure of Hyuga-chan, and the thin and tired body did not bend in the slightest, and strolled under the sunset. With a weary pace, Hyuga-chan returned home. Although he looked very embarrassed, he had a smile on his face. Raise your hands, the previously injured place has now been completely healed, and this is where Sage Body's pervert comes in. Of course, there are many people who own Sage Body, but only Senju Hashirama can achieve this level. As for the previous Otsutsuki Ashura, Hyuga-chan doesn't know much, so you can come if you want. Move around a bit, take a shower, then lie down on the bed and begin to close your eyes and meditate. Hyuga-chan is now thinking, how can I get ninjutsu? Although there are all kinds of ninjutsu in the system store, but it is too expensive, Hyuga-chan can't afford it at all. Chidori that the vast majority of travelers can create by themselves. I forgive Hyuga-chan for not remembering hand seal's gesture. Although Hyuga-chan has a lot of abilities, his skills are not overwhelming. Although the Hyuga family has never used ninjutsu, they can use ninjutsu. It seems that there should also be ninjutsu in the family. But how do I get it? Hyuga-chan scratched his head irritably. Speaking of which, the family hasn't given me the chakra refining technique. Has it completely given up on me? Hyuga-chan guessed. Hyuga-chan has also thought about creating his own ninjutsu, but he doesn't know much about ninjutsu now. If he can create it, it would be nonsense. After thinking about it for a long time, his brain was about to explode, and he didn't come up with a clue. He simply didn't think about it. Anyway, he didn't have to use ninjutsu. Sitting on the bed, Hyuga-chan began to refine chakra, which is what Hyuga-chan does every day. After refining for an hour, Hyuga-chan lay down directly to sleep. Chapter 13 8 trigrams 64 palms. The next morning, Hyuga-chan got up to wash and then prepared his own breakfast. After finishing breakfast, Hyuga-chan did not go to practice immediately, but refined chakra on the tatami in the living room. Today is the time when the family is giving out subsidies. Hyuga-chan doesn't want to miss out because of his cultivation. The money in his hand has already been spent. Just waiting for the family's subsidy, as well as his father's compassionate rescue. When it was more than 7 o'clock, Hyuga-chan suddenly opened his eyes. It's finally here. After a while, the door of Hyuga-chan's house was pushed open, and Chunin, a Hyuga family in his 20s, walked in. He took out the subsidy belonging to Hyuga-chan with a blank face, and said with a disgusted expression, "This is your subsidy." Also, Chunin reached into the ninja bag, took out a scroll and handed it to Hyuga-chan. "This is chakra refining, and the gentle fist of our Hyuga family. Although you may not be able to cultivate anything, we will not treat you badly." After speaking, Chunin turned around and left without a pause. "Am I so annoying?" Hyuga-chan said while rubbing his nose. Then open the scroll. In addition to the chakra refinement scroll, there are gentle fist 8 trigrams 64 palms. It's not bad. Something is better than nothing. Hyuga-chan put away the scroll and left the house. Came to the back mountain again. This time Hyuga-chan divided 10 shadow clone, and then took out the gentle fist method and let them study. I started my own exercise. In the afternoon, Shadow Clone suddenly burst into a cloud of smoke, and then 8 trigrams 64 palms, has been learned by Hyuga-chen. Coming to the tree, Hyuga-chen took a gentle fist pose, and 8 trigrams appeared, enveloped the tree, and shouted, 8 trigrams 64 palms. 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. 16 palms. 32 palms. 64 palms. Hyuga-chen's hands waved ultimate, after images appeared in the void, and the small palms burned chakra, hitting the big tree. Boom! With a loud explosion, the tree that couldn't be held by one person exploded, and sawdust kept flying and scattered on the ground. No wonder the members of the Hyuga family don't practice ninjutsu. This gentle fist 8 trigrams 64 palms is quite impressive, and its power is at least A** level. But the people of the Hyuga family wouldn't have thought that I could succeed in cultivation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given me 8 trigrams 64 palms directly. Although it has been refined into 8 trigrams 64 palms, this must not be exposed, otherwise the people of the Hyuga family will definitely find trouble. Hyuga-chen secretly sighed and said. Suddenly, Hyuga-chen's mind flashed. As long as I don't show the ability to point acupuncture points in the future, then I will use 8 trigrams 64 palms and I should be fine. Anyway, there is no rule that you must have acupuncture points to use gentle fist. I don't have Byakugan, as long as its destructive power is not good. As long as Tenseigan is not exposed, everything will be fine. Hyuga-chen smiled and boasted about his wit in his heart. Although using gentle fist in this way doubled the threat capability of the gentle fist method, it was enough to be able to use it openly. But for a short time, don't use it. After graduating from the ninja school in the future, let's talk about it. Hyuga-chen divided 10 shadow clones again, this time instead of letting them practice, let them practice against each other. Strong combat experience in the ninja world is the most important thing. Many powerful ninjas do not die in the hands of those with strong combat experience. Take Otsutsuki Kagaya Hime as an example. Her combat experience is not enough. Kong has a powerful technique against the sky, but she is not defeated in the end. Hyuga-chen doesn't want to be like Kagaya Hime, who has a whole body of power. When the time comes, he will be reborn with a golden wheel and cut through the air. Isn't that a joke? Shadow clone anyway. And it's not afraid of death, so every shot is a killer move. Hyuga-chen watched the battle between Shadow Clone while exercising. He was not watching the fun, but watching the battle to improve his combat experience. People like me who work hard and try their best to improve their strength, looking at the entire ninja world, there are not many. It's not that Hyuga-chen is boasting, Hyuga-chen is sure, even Might Dai and his son, and little Lee, can't compare with him. In this way, Hyuga-chen continued to practice from home and back to the mountain. In this 2.1-line life, his life was very peaceful. That is, Hyuga Hazashi once thought that his strength was enough to take revenge, so he came to Hyuga-chen to take revenge. However, Hyuga-chen slapped him with cruel reality, woke him up, made him come arrogant, and left with a swollen face. Other than that, Hyuga-chen gets some Byakugan at most, and it's really Byakugan. Hyuga-chen is also very happy. Although he is as tired as a dead dog every day, after feeling that his strength is improving every day, Hyuga-chen is happy. In the blink of an eye, another year has passed, and Hyuga-chen has grown a lot during this year's growth, at least compared with his contemporaries. Hyuga-chen is half a head taller. And Hyuga-chen is not only tall, but also powerful. Now Hyuga-chen's chakra volume has reached cage level, and looking at cage level, it is also one of the best. However, the purity of chakra is only elite chunin, which means that although Hyuga-chen's chakra is cage level, the ninjutsu released is far worse than cage level. The physical skills have been enhanced a lot, and by relying on the physical skills alone, Hyuga-chen has the confidence to defeat Jonin. Hyuga-chen felt that his hard power should be similar to that of elite Jonin, but because he had little combat experience, he was probably not an opponent. And the strength of Hokage should be calculated by the purity of chakra and fighting ability, or calculated by the amount of chakra. Senju clan and Uzumaki clan, is it not that Kage level is gone? No matter how you calculate it, fighting ability is the most important thing. With my ability, even Kage level, I can't. Hyuga Chen said confidently. It's not that Hyuga-chan is arrogant, the ability of the glittering fruit is indeed pervert. I can't beat you, can't you run? At the speed of the glittering fruit, even Hiraishin, who knows space ninjutsu, can't stop it. All the moves developed by Kizaru have now been developed by Hyuga Chen, and the example of Kizaru really saves Hyuga Chen a lot of effort. Rubbing his eyes, Hyuga Chen didn't go to the back mountain again. There is no point in training like this anymore. What restrains Hyuga Chen now is his age and physical development. No matter how hard he tries, he will not improve his strength. He has reached the limit of his age, unless he uses super serum now. But Hyuga Chen was reluctant to use it. Chapter 14 Gambling with Tsunade. Sitting cross-legged on the tatami, Hyuga Chen began to compress the chakra, which was the only way he could think of to improve the quality of the chakra. The light blue chakra in Hyuga-chan's body, under his compression, the color of the chakra is constantly deepening. It's too slow. After a long time, Hyuga-chan opened his eyes. During the year, he didn't care about the quality of chakra, which caused him to be very troublesome now. Because there are too many chakras, for Hyuga-chan to purify the chakras, he has to spend several times the time of others. This is also because of his good talent. This time Hyuga Chen suffered from the loss of no cultivation experience. When other ninjas increased their chakra levels, they would also choose to purify their chakra energy. But Hyuga Chen patronized to ask for the quantity, but ignored the quality, which is sad. Alright, anyway, I don't need to practice taijutsu for the time being, just concentrate on refining chakra. Let Shadow Clone go to practice ninjutsu. Hyuga Chen comforted himself in his heart. After half a day of practice, Hyuga Chen walked towards the ninja school. The new batch of students of the ninja school was about to enter the school. Now is the time to sign up. It is still very necessary to go to the ninja school. Although the ninja school teaches the basic knowledge, what Hyuga Chen lacks now is the basic knowledge. After coming to the ninja school, after paying the tuition, it can be regarded as an official entry into the ninja school, and now I am waiting for the school to start. Hey, I didn't expect to enter a school and have to pay tuition fees. If it wasn't for the reimbursement from the family, I really didn't want to go to school. Hyuga Chen sighed. 2 years ago, he was also a rich man, but now he has become a poor man after only 2 years. If it weren't for the multitude of creatures in the back mountain, Hyuga-chan would be starving now. Ninjas are big money hogs. Since cultivating, Hyuga-chan has made lead blocks for himself to exercise in Botkanai and Shuriken. I've already spent 78th of the money, and with Hyuga-chan's appetite, all the money was spent. Hyuga-chan was reluctant to buy even the detonating charm. And Hyuga-chan is very fortunate that he has a sage body, otherwise, he would have to add more money for medicine. These days, I have lived a hard life. I have to kidnap Conan when I have time. By then, the richest person in the ninja world will be me. Anyway, Hyuga-chan didn't believe that Conan's 600 billion detonating charms were all bought. According to Hyuga-chan's estimation, Conan should be able to make the detonating charms by himself. Feeling the hardship of having no money, Hyuga-chan thought of Conan in his mind. Hyuga-chan still likes Conan very much, this poor girl. But now that Conan has just been born, or hasn't been born yet, it's useless to think so much. Oh, is that Xiao Chen? Hyuga-chan was stunned when he heard someone call him, then turned to look. Tsunade standing at the entrance of a casino. At this time, Tsunade has undergone earth-shaking changes. First of all, the OP on his chest has reached the level of D cup after not seeing him for a year. This is unscientific. In a year's time, this is taking hormones. Otherwise, why would it change from a flat chest to a balloon? Hyuga-chen complained frantically in his heart. Although I know that Tsunade will become a cow chariot, but this is also growing too fast. Little devil, where are your eyes? Tsunade Yuhi walked over with a sullen face, reaching out and hitting Hyuga-chen's head. Hyuga-chen rubbed his head. It hurts a bit. Tsunade is also true. No light or heavy. I haven't seen you for a year. I didn't expect you to be so tall that I almost didn't recognize you. Tsunade reached out and gestured. Hihi tilde, you are growing faster. I almost didn't recognize you. Hyuga-chen complained in his heart. Of course he didn't dare to say these words. He could only complain in his heart, otherwise he would definitely be greeted by Tsunade's punch. Heart, but Hyuga-chen had a cute smile on his face, which made people couldn't help but pick them up and ravage them. Hyuga-chen doesn't think it's shameful to be cute. Those who have such an advantage and don't know how to use it are all fools. Hyuga-chen's cute smile turned out to be very effective. Tsunade hugged Hyuga-chen and pressed his head against the huge chest in front of him. Hyuga-chen felt suffocated for a while, and he took a lot of strength before he took a breath. A strong milk fragrance spread to his mind, making him a little confused. After a long time, Tsunade let go of Hyuga-chen, and then Hyuga-chen eased his breath and took a deep breath. Tsunade's face turned Yuhi's face, and then returned to her carefree personality. For some reason, she felt that there was a unique attraction in Hyuga-chen. Unlike the feeling of closeness that he arrived at before, Tsunade couldn't say what it was, but he just wanted to get close to Hyugatatsu. If Hyuga-chen knew, he would not be surprised, because he had already completed the lottery a few days ago. And what I got this time was not a powerful ability, but an increase in attractiveness to the opposite sex. When I got it at that time, Hyuga-chen couldn't help but gasp. With his good looks, coupled with this attraction to the opposite sex, this is the rhythm that makes him a stallion. Hyuga-chen thought of narcissism. Xiaochen came just in time. Elder sister, I will take you to kill the quartet. Tsunade patted his chest proudly. Gudong. Seeing the trembling in Tsunade's chest, Hyuga-chen swallowed. Little satyr. After noticing Hyuga-chen's gaze, Tsunade scolded Yuhi in the face, and then pulled Hyuga-chen towards the casino. After seeing the casino, Hyuga-chen was about to refuse when a light flashed in his mind. This is a great opportunity to make money. The title of Tsunade Big Fat Sheep is more famous than her title of Sanin. Thinking of this, Hyuga-chen's mind became active, and if he pressed against Tsunade like this, he would definitely win, although he was a little sorry for Tsunade. But losing to others is also a loss, and losing to yourself is also a loss. After winning the money, give Tsunade some compensation. Hyuga-chen, who has decided, happily enters the casino with Tsunade. Came to the casino, Hyuga-chen found that there were quite a few people who had the same idea as him. It seems that wherever you go, there is competition. Hyuga-chen sighed. Unfortunately, Tensagen's perspective can only see the flow of meridians and chakras, otherwise cheating will not be easy. Hyuga-chen sighed in his heart. At first, Hyuga-chen was very much looking forward to Tensagen's ability to see through, but after using it, he realized that he could only see the flow of people's meridians and chakras, which made Hyuga-chen be happy. Xiaochen, do you have money? I can lend you a little if I don't have money, but I have to pay it back. Standing in front of the gaming table, Tsunade said excitedly. No, I still have some money. From the wallet, he took out the little money he had saved, looked at Tsunade who was just as excited, and said to himself, Miss Tsunade, whether you are a young model in the clubhouse or working in the sea, it's up to you. Although Hyuga-chen has observation hockey, he has never played dice, so he won't be able to cheat, so he can only see if Tsunade is good enough. Tsunade has a lot of money. It should be several million taels. Looking at the money Tsunade took out of the sealed scroll, a trace of envy flashed in Hyuga-chen's eyes. Chapter 15 Ninjutsu given by Tsunade. Xiaochen, it's your first time here. Just follow me to make a bet, and you're guaranteed to win. Haha tilde, Hyuga-chen laughed. If this is betting with you, it's not about losing all the shorts. Seeing Tsunade's bet, Hyuga-chen followed and placed his only remaining 10,000 taels on the opposite side of Tsunade. Shouchen tilde, you don't believe me, Tsunade said angrily. He had already asked him to bet with him. Unexpectedly, he still didn't believe that he was a veteran gambler. Tsunade was a little angry. Hyuga-chen opened his mouth and didn't know what to say. He also wanted to believe Tsunade, but Tsunade's record was too scary, he couldn't believe it. Hyuga-chen tilted his head, but fortunately pretended not to see it. Sure enough, after the opening, there was no surprise that Tsunade lost, and the 10,000 taels in Hyuga-chen's hands had turned into 50,000 taels, a direct increase of 5 times. This can ruin Hyuga-chen. If you have no money in the future, you can consider bringing Tsunade and come to the casino to make money. Sister Tsunade, who owns this casino? Huh, why are you asking this? Tsunade, who was in a bad mood because of the loss, asked suspiciously. Nothing, I'm just asking. This casino is led by the Sarutobi family and the Shimura family, and other major families have stakes. Except for the Uchiha family. Although Tsunade was puzzled, he still said it. The background of this casino is really big. With a sigh, Hyuga-chen continued to gamble, as long as the Shimura family didn't open it themselves. Otherwise, what if Shimura Danzo, an old yinbi, sends someone to assassinate him after seeing how much he wins? Although I feel a little overly concerned, Shimura Danzo should not assassinate others for a little money, but Hyuga-chen can't trust Shimura Danzo's character. Although Shimura Danzo finally washed white, but in Hyuga-chen's view, black is black, no matter how you wash it, you can't wash it white. After playing for a while until the afternoon, Tsunade had lost all his money, and he even borrowed 500,000 from Hyuga-chen. Shouchen, lend me another 500,000 yuan. I feel like I can turn over next time, Tsunade said in a hurried voice, like a gambler who lost Yuhi's eyes. Sister Tsunade, a small bet for happiness, a big bet to hurt your health, and a strong bet to ruin your family. Hyuga-chen couldn't help but discouraged. Looking at Tsunade's appearance, even giving her a few 100 million won't be enough to lose. I feel like I can win. Don't you have any points in your heart? If you really won, it's probably you who cried. Hyuga-chen secretly complained, then put away the money and walked away from the casino. Tsunade, who has no money, can only bite Kiba and dare not come out. After coming out, Tsunade hugs Hyuga-chen and ravages him, venting his anger. You bastard, you don't know how to help me, and you still don't believe me. Tsunade pretended to be fierce, but with Tsunade's beautiful face, it also had a different flavor. Hyuga-chen raised his head and said dejectedly, if I believed you, we would have come out in vain long ago. Don't forget the 500,000 taels owed to me. This is to be repaid. Got it, Tsunade replied with erratic eyes. Hyuga-chen looked at Tsunade and knew that she had never thought about paying back the money. Forget it, consider it as a reward for Tsunade. Without Tsunade with me, I wouldn't even be able to enter the casino. Hyuga-chen pretended to be generous. In fact, my heart is already crying. It's not that Hyuga-chen is a miser, but that he has been poor for 2 years, and suddenly lost a lot of money. Of course, I feel distressed. PFF'd. Seeing Hyuga-chen's sad face, Tsunade smiled, then took out a scroll and handed it to Hyuga-chen. These ninjutsu, let's sell them to you. Hyuga-chen took it in a daze, and then said a little excitedly, thank you. Tsunade's sister. I need to say thank you. You will be my younger brother in the future. If someone dares to bully you in the future, you can tell my sister and I will avenge you. Okay. A smile appeared on Hyuga-chen's face. Although he is not afraid of anyone, these words are also Tsunade's kindness. Although Hyuga-chen's emotional intelligence is not high, it is not low. You won so much money today, are you going to treat my sister to a good meal? Of course, I can win so much money, thanks to Tsunade's sister. Suddenly, Hyuga-chan felt as if he had said something wrong. Hyuga-chan actually thanked Tsunade for bringing him into the casino, but it sounded like he was winning the money because of Tsunade's losses. Touch. Tsunade tapped Hyuga-chan on the head and said with a smile, "Don't worry. Big sister, I'm not so stingy. I still count my gambling luck." Seeing that Tsunade was not angry, Hyuga-chan also relaxed, and then complained in his heart, "This is just what you say now. You are not like this when you arrive at the casino." To a snack bar with Tsunade, Tsunade ordered some fried chicken, 4 color balls, and a pot of sake, and ate it regardless of the image. Tsunade didn't care about his image anymore. Hyuga-chan didn't even care about his image, his mouth was stuffed full of food. "Eat slowly, and no one will rob you." His mouth was full, and Hyuga-chan struggled to speak before swallowing it after a long time. "It's faster to eat this way, I'm used to it." When Hyuga-chan practiced, he was simply dying, so he ate very fast. In fact, if it wasn't for Hyuga-chan's sage body, he could have been slaughtered just by practicing life-threateningly. With Tsunade, the two parted ways. The Senju family and the Hyuga family were not in the same direction at all. After returning home, Hyuga-chan first took out the seal scroll that was specially designed to confuse others from the system backpack, and checked how much money he got. After counting, I found that there were more than 3 million taels. The absolute fastest way to get money from gambling, but Tsunade must be present, otherwise there will be no shorts left. Hyuga-chan said with a sigh. Put all the money in the safest system mall, and then Hyuga-chan took out the ninjutsu scroll that Tsunade gave. Thinking of this, Hyuga-chan was very grateful to Tsunade. They had only met twice, and Tsunade gave him such a big benefit. In fact, this is all about the attraction of the opposite sex. It can make the opposite sex feel good about him, and can easily identify with him. The longer the contact time, the greater the effect. With this ability, Hyuga-chan can consider being a great profession such as a small white face, a scumbag, and a humanoid self-propelled gun. Open the ninjutsu scroll. There are 6 ninjutsu recorded on it, and each ninjutsu has an annotation. Among them, the most valuable ones are Strange Power and Yin Seal. The other 4 are Sweetened Water Style, Water Dragon Bullet, Doden Earth Style, Earth Dragon Bullet, Raiden Thunder Style, Ground Walk, Sweetened Water Style, Water Formation Wall. Chapter 16 Feet Laojongren, Hyuga-Hiyashi. Among these 6 ninjutsus, only Raiden Thunder Style Digo is AC level ninjutsu, and the others are at least B level ninjutsu. Especially Tsunade's signature physique, Strange Power, and Yin Seal, an S-rank sealing technique. To be honest, Hyuga-chan never thought that Tsunade would give these 2 techniques to himself. I'll think of a way to repay Tsunade in the future. Hyuga-chan gave him a wry smile. Tsunade's gift to him was so great that he was shocked. Let's practice tomorrow. I don't know how powerful I can be after I learn the magic technique. Strange Power is an instantaneous burst of power. If he superimposes his physical skills and uses armament haki to strengthen his power, it will definitely be stronger than Tsunade. This is not an exaggeration at all. In terms of physical fitness, Hyuga-chan should be 1 point stronger than Tsunade, which is an advantage. Although chakra is not as pure as Tsunade, it has armament haki, which can definitely be supplemented, and then the impact of the 6th-style shaving of the navy or the speed of the glittering fruit can be added. It is no exaggeration to say that Hyuga-chan can overwhelm Tsunade head-on. After a night of rest, Hyuga-chan got up and divided 50 shadow clones to practice ninjutsu. 50 shadow clone is already Hyuga-chan's limit. After letting shadow clone go to practice, Hyuga-chan came to the training ground of the Hyuga family. The training ground of the Hyuga family is very large, and everyone from the entire Hyuga family comes here to practice, and it is very spacious. And the Hyuga family has thousands of people, so you can imagine how big the Hyuga family's training ground is. Yo, Hyuga Teppanyaki, why don't you play ninja games and train here? He arrived at the training ground. Hyuga-chan met an acquaintance and went over to greet him with a smile. Humph. Now I don't play those ninja games anymore, I want to become a real ninja. Have ambition, I'm optimistic about you. Hyuga-chan said with a smile. To say that the Hyuga Iron Plate family is also a powerful character, the name is so powerful. He also has an older brother called Hyuga Iron Plate, called Hyuga Steel Plate, and his father is called Hyuga Alloy. Just from the name, you know how hard it is. Even if Hyuga-chen wants to beat them, he has to change his name to Hyuga Star, so that he can overwhelm them. The young patriarch is here. Hello, young patriarch. The young patriarch is so handsome. I really want to marry him. This is what a man said. Horrible. Humph. A group of people who tend to be hot and powerful. Compared to Hyuga-chen, I really don't think he is handsome. Hyuga Hiyashi walked to the training ground with a stern face, exclaimed to everyone, and showed a calm look. At the age of 5, he put on a serious face. In short, Hyuga Hiyashi's style is very high, and it caused exclamations when he came. Some people wanted to flatter him, and some people were unhappy with Hyuga Hiyashi's appearance. In short, the whole training ground became lively. Even those Chunin and Jonin, who saw Hyuga Hiyashi, would also greet him and salute him. Because Hyuga Hiyashi is already the appointed patriarch in the future, everyone respects him very much. When my father-in-law was young, he was quite handsome. No wonder he gave birth to the beauty of Hyuga Hinata and the little loli of Hyuga Hanabi. Hyuga-chen said secretly. Hiyashi, where's your brother Hyuga Hazashi? Why didn't he come with you? Hyuga Hiyashi frowned, then looked at Hyuga-chen, snorted coldly, and left without answering. He didn't have a good impression of Hyuga-chen, a clan of impure blood that made Hyuga's family humiliating, and even because of his sense of responsibility, he was more unhappy with Hyuga-chen than others. Looking at Hyuga Hiyashi who turned away, Hyuga-chen touched his nose. What are you so arrogant about? We'll see if I won't abduct your daughter away, and the two of you will be kidnapped together in the future. Let's see if you can be cocky in the future. Hyuga-chen whispered in a low voice. If Hyuga Hiyashi knew that Hyuga-chen was thinking about his daughter now, needless to say, even if he tried his best, he would also make Hyuga-chen look good. I'm only 5 years old and haven't grown up yet. As a pervert, you only care about your daughter and don't hit anyone. Hyuga Hiyashi walks up to a specially made human stake, in a gentle fist gesture in his hand, and a yin-yang tai chi figure looms over the stake. Gentle fist law 8 trigrams 16 palms. 16 palms in a row were hit on the stake, and precisely at the position of each acupuncture point of the stake in the human body. It's amazing. It's worthy of being a powerful patriarch. At a young age, I can play 8 trigrams 16 palms. I'm in my 20s, and I can play 8 trigrams 32 palms. The patriarch is very talented and will definitely lead our Hyuga family to become the first Konoha family, said one of the Jonin. When Hyuga-chen heard this, he turned his head and glanced at him. He was right. The Hyuga family was indeed the first Konoha family at the beginning of the plot. But this also cannot be taken off. The Hyuga family is the hat of Hokage's first Chan oil family. To be honest, the Hyuga family was all scouts in the later stage, and a Neji who could fight was still dead, and it also claimed to be a pupil family that kept pace with the Uchiha family. Hyuga-chen felt a pain in his face. If it weren't for the system, Hyuga-chen would definitely leave the Hyuga family and find refuge in a remote island, because the Hyuga family is really weak, at least compared to the big bosses behind, they are weak. Without a system, relying on one's own ability, wanting to get Tenseigan is simply wishful thinking, which Hyuga-chen is a bit overwhelming. He knew he had no system, nothing. It can be said that when you come to the world of Hokage, you basically don't want to go to the top without a plug-in. After walking around the training ground and seeing my husband Hyuga Hiyashi, Hyuga-chen quietly left. Except for the women of the Hyuga family who have been paying attention to Hyuga-chen, no one noticed Hyuga-chen's departure at all. Back home, Hyuga-chen thought about it, and then opened the system mall. Looking at the ninjutsu above and the exchange point in his hand, Hyuga-chen hesitated. By accumulating exchange points like this, even if you accumulate them until the end of Hokage, you won't be able to buy good things, so just use them now. Then Hyuga-chen bought the 3-body technique and the instant body technique, and spent 8,000 exchange points. The 3-body technique cost a total of 3,000 exchange points, and the instant body technique cost 5,000 exchange points, and there are 51,000 points left. Thousands of exchange points. This 1,000 exchange points makes me feel a little uncomfortable with this obsessive-compulsive disorder, so I just spend it. After spending 1,000 exchange points, I bought a delicate kunai, which is sharper than the kunai on the market. The remaining 50,000, Hyuga-chen purchased a basic swordsmanship grandmaster. He can use the glittering fruit to create the Tiankong Yunjian. If he doesn't understand a bit of swordsmanship, wouldn't he be wasting this ability? After accepting the basic swordsmanship grandmaster, all the basic swordsmanship moves came to Hyugatatsu's mind. Chapter 17 Admission. Basic swordsmanship grandmaster is all basic, the strength increase brought to Hyuga-chen is huge. It can be said that in Hokage now, when it comes to basic swordsmanship, Hyuga-chen can definitely be ranked first. After a month of training, Hyuga-chen completely turned the basic swordsmanship into his own and brought out his own characteristics. Hyuga-chen's swordsmanship features speed and strength. He doesn't play any fancy things with you at all, he just chops when he goes up, which is simple and rude. This also brings out the advantages of Hyuga-chen's strength and speed, and is the most suitable swordsmanship for Hyuga-chen. And this month has passed, the ninja school is about to start, and Hyuga-chen is the freshman of this class. Put on a black strong suit, tie all the lead weights to the body, and then put on a black imperial robe outside. After pushing the door open, Hyuga-chen walked towards the ninja school. Along the way, I also met many parents who took their children to the ninja school. This little guy is so handsome. Is he also a freshman at this ninja school? Isn't this Chen? I didn't expect you to be so handsome today. I almost didn't recognize you. When you get to school, you can definitely fascinate a group of little girls. Thank you Uncle Yueren for your compliment. Hyuga-chen responded with a smile. Although he was dressed in black, Hyuga-chen was not cold at all. Soon I came to the ninja school, and at this time, the ninja school was already full, including parents and freshmen. Hyuga-chen found a place, sat down, and quietly watched the rioting school training ground. Maybe 10 years later, this scene is also a good memory. Hyuga-chen had a smile on his face, full of affinity. The handsome face, I don't know how many little girls are moved, and the eyes are filled with pink Yuhi peach hearts, looking at the handsome Hyuga-chen, showing the eyes of Nympho. And those little boys looked at Hyuga-chen unhappily, with blazing flames in their eyes, and were very unhappy with Hyuga-chen, who stole their limelight as soon as he appeared. Tisk tisk. This is the legendary Nympho Eye and Jealous Eye. It's really amazing. Tensagen, admire. Feeling the eyes full of love, and the burning eyes full of killing intent, Hyuga-chen said in a low voice. Suddenly, Hyuga-chen's shoulder was tapped. Hyuga-chen was not surprised, turned to Tsunade and said, Sister Tsunade, how did you recognize me? Chen, I found that you weren't surprised at all. Did you already know that I was behind you? Tsunade asked suspiciously. She didn't make a sound just now. Of course I feel it. Hyuga-chen said with a smile. Tsunade took a deep look at Hyuga-chen, and then stopped asking. Everyone has everyone's secrets, and she didn't want to explore. I really feel it, and thank you Tsunade sister for giving me ninjutsu, this is for you. Hyuga-chen took out the manuscript of the 6 naval styles, as well as observation haki, and armament haki's training method. This is. Tsunade took it suspiciously, and opened it. After a long time, Tsunade read it, and then handed it back to Hyuga-chen with a dignified expression. "Chen, I don't know where you got it from, but you put it away and don't expose it." Tsunade, who has been carefree, has a surprisingly serious face. Hyuga-chen didn't take it, grinned, revealing 2 rows of big white fang. "This is the gift I gave to your sister. If you don't accept it, you will look down on me." Hyuga-chen's style to repay virtue with virtue and grudge for grudge. Hyuga-chen is not a good person, but Tsunade can give himself the most important ninjutsu, enough for Hyuga-chen to remember for a lifetime. "Whoever treats me with sincerity, I will treat her with sincerity." Tsunade opened his mouth, looked at Hyuga-chen's somewhat unhappy face, and closed it. "Thank you, Xiaochen, I will never pass these moves to other people." Tsunade said, moved. Although she only looked at it roughly, she could see the value in it. The first is the 6 naval styles, each of which is at least no lower than A** ninjutsu, while observation haki and armament haki are definitely S-level secret techniques, or even higher. Hyuga-chen smiled and then reminded, "Sister Tsunade, if you want to learn these physical skills, you have to endure hardships. With your current physical fitness, it is very difficult to use them. Being able to use those powerful physical skills is nothing if you suffer a little." The Navy's 6th form was an eye-opener for Tsunade, with shaved fast movements, moon-step flying, pointed spear and languid attacks, as well as iron and paper-painted defenses, which can be said to be the most comprehensive. And observation haki, after learning it, is the best reconnaissance ninja, and can also predict the enemy's attack. Armament haki, the most widely used domineering among the 3 colors of domineering, not to mention defensive ability, but to say pervert's ability to increase, can make Tsunade's strength skyrocket several times. "Thank you, Xiaochen." Tsunade didn't ask how these physical skills came from. Since Hyuga-chen believed her and gave her these physical skills, she still asked what they were doing. "Sister, I'm here." Just when Hyuga-chen was about to speak, he interrupted him with a shout. Hyuga-chen and Tsunade looked at the place where the voice came from. "Sister Tsunade, could it be Senju Nawaki?" Hyuga-chen thought to himself. Tsunade's next words also confirmed Hyuga-chen's guess. "Nawaki, you idiot, what the hell are you yelling at?" Tsunade looked at Nawaki in dissatisfaction. "Hey, who is he? Could it be that your elder sister eats young grass?" Nawaki said with a wretched expression. Touch. Nawaki fell to the ground, his head buried in the ground, and his limbs were constantly shaking. "How could I have you, stupid brother?" Tsunade's face flashed an imperceptible yuhi dizziness, and then angrily retracted his fist. Hyuga-chen looked at Nawaki, the corners of his mouth twitched. This guy is joking. A lot of energy wasted. Nawaki pulled his head out, and then complained. "They said don't hit me in the head. If I'm stupid, it's all yours." "I think you're already stupid now." Hyuga-chen complained in his heart. He didn't expect Nawaki to be so stupid, and he really looked like Naruto. One has the halo of the protagonist, the other is just a trick, and it is tragic to say it. 2 people with similar personalities are treated completely differently. Chapter 18 Tablemate Uchiha Makoto _ After a bit of fun, Hyuga-chen and Senju Nawaki got to know each other under Tsunade's introduction. And Senju Nawaki is a familiar character. He came over and patted Hyuga-chen on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, I will cover you after entering the school." "Okay, when I'm in trouble, I will definitely find you, then don't regret what you said now." Hyuga-chen's face was full of smiles. "I'm going to be a Hokage person, of course I have to do what I say," Senju Nawaki said, patting his chest. When the new students who entered this school were almost there, the 3-generation-old man appeared on the podium. Now it can't be said to be a 3-generation-old man. The current 3-generation Hokage is in its prime, and its strength is at its peak, at least the strength of Cage-level peak. Walking to the podium, Sarutobi Hiruzen began a long speech, starting from the establishment of Konoha village by the original Hokage Senju Hashirama. Talking about the prosperity of Konoha and the turmoil in other shinobi villages, the conclusion is that Konoha is harmonious and peaceful, and other shinobi villages are turbulent. Then I talked about how bad other shinobi villages are, how good Konoha is, how Konoha's spirit, the will of fire, how powerful the first Hokage and the second Hokage are, and so on. I hope you will grow into powerful ninjas and guard the Konoha ninja village. In the future, one of you may be the next Hokage. Where the leaves are flying, the fire is still alive, the fire will continue to illuminate the village and make the new leaves sprout. This is the will of fire in our Konoha, which has been passed down since the first generation, and I hope you will continue to convey it. Go down and live forever. The words of Sarutobi Hiruzen made these children who had just entered school listened with enthusiasm and excitement. Especially Senju Naoki next to Hyuga-chan, his blood was burning, he almost accidentally crushed an egg, just so hot. Hyuga-chan was so drowsy listening to it that he didn't listen to it at all. He listened to too many speeches like this, and he couldn't get up at all. And the will of fire is a selfless spirit, which is not suitable for Hyuga-chan at all. Even Hyuga-chan and the will of fire are on two opposite paths. Hyuga-chan is convinced that people are not for themselves, and the world will be destroyed. To put it bluntly, it is selfish. Hyuga-chan came out, the people he cared about, the people in Konoha village, all died in front of him, and he wouldn't even blink, he was so selfish and indifferent. So don't look at Hyuga-chan with a smile every day, but behind the smile, he is colder than anyone else. Hyuga-chan and Aizen's personalities are very similar. The difference is that Hyuga-chan doesn't have Aizen's ambition, nor does Aizen do that. Came to the Hokage world, I got the help of the system. Hyuga-chan never thought of dominating the ninja world and ruling the world. What he yearns for more is to sit with a group of beauties without shame and shame every day, to sit and watch the situation rise and smile at the changes of the world. Xiao-chan, you seem to be not very interested in the old man's speech. Seeing Hyuga-chan yawning constantly, Tsunade behind Hyuga-chan said something. Sister Tsunade isn't interested either. Hyuga-chan replied in the same way. I've said this hundreds of times, and I'm tired of hearing it. Tsunade looked bored. Xiao-chan, don't change the subject. Hyuga-chan smiled when he heard the words, and then said, the true will of fire has not been implemented by anyone except the first generation, so the will of fire has disappeared with the first generation, maybe one day, it will reappear. Tsunade frowned, then thoughtfully, she also somewhat agreed with Hyuga-chan's words. Tsunade has a very good understanding of the internal situation of Konoha, and the contradictions between the various families are constant. From this point of view, the will of fire is more like a joke. Hyuga-chan sneered at the will of fire, it may look very beautiful, but this is a beautiful fantasy, unless the whole Konoha is people like Senju Hashirama and Uzumaki Naruto. Otherwise, the will of fire can only be talked about forever. Or the will of fire is only suitable for a few people. It took a whole morning for Sarutobi Hiruzen to finish speaking. At this time, Hyuga-chan finally breathed a sigh of relief, and then showed admiration. Hyuga-chan really admired him for talking all morning without stopping, but looking at the hot-blooded ninja students around, I have to say that this brainwashing was very successful. This is the end of the morning. After lunch, the school is divided into classes. Everyone brought a bento to find a place to eat, and of course Hyuga-chan also brought it. But when Hyuga-chan took out his stool, Senju Naoki swallowed and asked with difficulty, you can finish this much? Regarding Senju Naoki's question, Hyuga-chan just smiled, bowed his head and started to fight, and actions can prove everything. Tsunade smiled at this. After watching the sixth form of the Navy, she also knew why Hyuga-chan could eat so much. Hyuga-chan's bento not only shocked Naoki, but also the surrounding children and accompanying parents expressed their shock. Hyuga-chan turned a blind eye to these gazes and went his own way. Why should he care about other people's gazes? After eating the bento, the school teacher started to assign classes, and soon Hyuga Chen's name was pronounced, and he was assigned to Class A. And he also heard some familiar names, such as the 3 Ino Shikacho, the 2 brothers Hiyashi and Hazashi, the 4 generations of Hokage Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Makoto, Senju Nawaki and others. To Class A with Senju Nawaki, Tsunade has now left. Came to Class A, there were not many people yet. Senju Nawaki pulled Hyuga Chen and said, "Chen, let's do it together." "No, I like a person." Hyuga Chen rejected Senju Nawaki directly, making Senju Nawaki very disappointed, but he didn't force it. However, after Hyuga Chen rejected Nawaki, he approached Uchiha Makoto very unscrupulously. Senju Nawaki looked at Hyuga Chen resentfully. "This is someone you like." Feeling Senju Nawaki's eyes, Hyuga Chen felt a little chilly. This Senju Nawaki can't be gay. Turning his head away from Senju Nawaki, he turned to Uchiha Makoto and said, "My name is Hyuga Chen, and I will be your roommate from now on. Please give me more advice." Uchiha Makoto looked at Hyuga Chen's unparalleled face, with a hint of Yuhi dizziness on his cheeks, and replied in a low voice, "My name is Uchiha Makoto, nice to meet you, classmate Hyuga Chen." "Makoto, just call me Chen, otherwise it's too unfamiliar," Hyuga Chentao said almost. Makoto's face became even more Yuhi's face. "You must know that you can only call him by his first name if he has a very good relationship, or if he is a relative." At this time, the advantages of appearance, as well as the attractiveness of the opposite sex, will show their prestige, and Makoto's lack of anger can explain everything. "I'll ask Chen Duoduo for advice after that." Makoto endured the shyness in his heart and said in a gentle voice. "P.S. Don't care about people of different ages. Why are they classmates? They are the same age in the setting of this book." Chapter 19. There is opposite sex and no humanity, Hyuga Chen. Looking at Makoto's gentle and watery appearance, Hyuga Chen smiled. As expected of the Hokage world, the most suitable role to be a wife. Although Uchiha Makoto doesn't make many appearances, his popularity is still not low. Like this Yamato Nadeko, Hyuga Chen naturally likes it. Hyuga Chen has already decided, Makoto will be his person from now on. "Uchiha Fugaku, this rubbish, go and jerk off by yourself." As for whether Uchiha Itachi and 2 Jinchuriki column sons will be born in the future, does this have anything to do with Hyuga Chen? To be honest, Hyuga Chen doesn't have a problem with the so-called Itachi god. Not why, just because the 2 of them are two-way people. A person who has great love and loves the village more than anything, except Sasuke, but Hyuga Chen is extremely selfish. He only cares about the people he should care about. Hyuga Chen is not very interested in this very popular character. Hyuga Chen will not deny that what he does is wrong, nor will he think that he is right. This is a conflict of ideas. 2 people with different personalities will have different definitions of one thing. Anyway, Hyuga Chen will not sacrifice himself and his relatives for other irrelevant people. "If you have a big heart, you can accommodate the world. My heart is too small, and can only accommodate the people I should accommodate. Don't like Uchiha Itachi Hyuga Chen anymore, let alone Sasuke Uchiha. This guy Hyuga Chen doesn't like him anymore." "Why are you staring at me?" Makoto said angrily. "Of course it's because you're beautiful. I see that you can't help yourself. From the time I saw you, you stole my heart," Hyuga Chen said with an exaggerated expression. Makoto's face suddenly turned to Yuhi. Makoto turned his head and stared ahead distractedly, not daring to look at Hyuga Chen again. Hyuga Chen still looked at Makoto unscrupulously, making Makoto's heart beat faster. However, Uchiha Makoto did not reject this, but was a little bit delighted. "Tishin, you have no sense of opposite sex." Seeing that the atmosphere between Hyuga Chen and Uchiha Makoto became more ambiguous, Senju Nawaki stood up and said, "Nawaki, you can't say that. Sitting with you is not as comfortable as sitting with a beautiful woman, and you see that you are at the same table. You are not also a handsome guy. It definitely suits your taste. Don't stare at me." Hyuga-chen pointed at Senju Naoki's tablemate, and Senju Naoki's tablemate was the fourth generation of Hokage Namikaze Minato. What? Naoki looked confused. Although Hokage's children are generally precocious, they are still children, so naturally they don't know the meaning of Hyuga-chen's words. I mean, I don't like men, you can find someone else. Hyuga-chen said blankly. I don't like men either. Naoki yelled angrily. Really, that may be my misunderstanding. However, he said the misunderstanding, but his face showed a look of disbelief. Naoki angrily wanted to explain, but there was no way to explain it. And Namikaze Minato, who was lying innocently with a gun, looked bewildered and subconsciously stayed away from Naoki. If it weren't for Naoki's anger, Namikaze Minato would have wanted to change positions. Now that there are only a few people in the class, it's not that there are no places. Humph. Wait, I'm going to tell my sister that you're having an affair outside. Senju Naoki sat down angrily. Unmoved, Hyuga Tatsu continued to tease Yuhi's Uchiha Makoto. Now Makoto, his face is hot and hot, he can boil eggs. Makoto, you are so shy. The classmates are here, if you bully me again, I will ignore you. Makoto rose Yuhi and replied with a face. Hyuga-chen also knew enough was enough, otherwise it would be bad to leave a bad impression on Makoto. Seeing that Hyuga-chen really stopped teasing himself, Uchiha Makoto was a little disappointed. As time went by, students from Class A also came, such as Inoshika Chotrio, Hyuga Brothers, Inazuka Claws, etc. Seeing Hyuga-chen, Hyuga Hazashi showed a touch of anger, and then quickly hid, for fear of being discovered by Hyuga-chen and beating him up. Now Hyuga Hazashi is afraid of Hyuga-chen because he has been beaten several times. Hyuga Hiyashi glanced at Hyuga Tatsu, and then sat down with Hyuga Hazashi. Hyuga-chen shrugged, then lay on the table, seemingly sleeping, but in fact purifying the chakra in his body. What did you say? Naoki stood up angrily. I said that everyone in this class should obey my Uchiha-ken. An arrogant boy with the Uchiha family crest on his back was confronting Naoki. In the entire class, the atmosphere was extremely solemn. Whether it was a commoner or a student from the family, they all looked at Uchiha Jien with a bad expression. Among them, Hyuga Hiyashi and Senju Naoki were the most reactive. The hatred between Senju and Uchiha has a long history and can no longer be adjusted by a few words. The Hyuga family and the Uchiha family are known as the two major pupil families in the ninja world, and whoever is stronger between these two families has also attracted everyone's attention. Therefore, the two families are also full of gunpowder smell. And the Uchiha clan are now the guards of Konoha, which is a good job and a chore. If it is smooth, this is a good job, and it can make the major families owe some favors to themselves. However, the Uchiha family is the face of Long Ocean. In this kind of position that must be smooth, they are more hanging than anyone else. They catch this and that from time to time. The entire Konoha family has been offended again and again. In the eyes of the Konoha commoners, the Uchiha family is not a good thing, and they have no good impression of them. To put it badly, the Uchiha family is stinky shit right now. Wherever you put it, there are people who hate it. No one likes to deal with a clan that is so arrogant and doesn't look down on anyone. They don't look down on you anymore. Are you still looking at it? No one is so rude. Therefore, this dragon set Uchiha Jien is really cheap, and it will offend a large number of people. Hyuga-chen, who was lying on the table and had been purifying chakra, couldn't help but raised his head and watched this scene with interest. Looking at the angry crowd, Hyuga-chen doesn't mind adding fire. Who makes this guy Hyuga-chen look bad? Do you know this guy? Hyuga-chen patted Makoto's shoulder and asked. Makoto gave Yuhi a first glance, and then whispered, he is a genius of our Uchiha family, but he acts very arrogantly, and he is also the grandson of the chief elder, qualified to compete for the position of the patriarch. No wonder I dare to be arrogant, so there is still a bit of background. Hyuga-chen said with a smile. Yeah, he bullies people all day and is very annoying. Even within the Uchiha family, he is not welcome. After speaking, even the gentle girl Makoto showed a hint of disgust. Chapter 20 Gang Fight Uchiha Ken. Looking at the scene where Kwang stared and didn't start fighting, Hyuga-chen felt a little bored. Look at Makoto, you hate this guy too, I'll teach him a lesson. He said to Makoto, and Hyuga-chen was about to stand up. Makoto hurriedly stretched out his hand to pull him, and then said anxiously, Chen, don't go, although he is very annoying, but his strength is not weak, he is a real genius. Oh, is Makoto caring about me? Hyuga Tatsu gazed at Uchiha Makoto with affectionate eyes. Makoto's pink face Yuhi was extremely moist, like a big apple, and people couldn't help but take a bite. Don't worry. Hyuga-chen patted Makoto's little hand and stood up. I said Hiyashi, I don't think you are qualified to be the young patriarch at all. Hyuga-chen's words attracted everyone's attention, and they all stared at Hyuga-chen. Especially Hyuga Hiyashi, although the pure white eyes can't see anything, but everyone still sees his anger on his expression. What did you say? I'm so angry, I think you're a quail. He was about to ride on your face just now. You didn't dare to make a sound. You were scared to think about the quivering quail. What are you pretending to be with me now? You became the young chief by being the main clan yourself, or you are nothing. Hyuga-chen said disdainfully, completely igniting Hyuga Hiyashi's anger. You said I'm afraid of him. Hyuga Hiyashi said angrily, pointing at Uchiha Jien. Yes, if you're not afraid of him, you can beat him to prove yourself. Hyuga-chen nodded. Okay, I'll let you asshole today know why I became the young patriarch. Hyuga Hiyashi carried the chakra, smashed the table with a slap, and walked towards Uchiha Ken. Tisk tisk, this table didn't provoke you, but turned out to be your punching bag. I really feel sorry for it. Hyuga-chen said with his arms crossed. I, Hyuga Hiyashi, want to challenge you. Do you dare to accept it? Hyuga Hiyashi said in a cold voice. Why don't you dare? I want you to know that Byakugan of your Hyuga family is worthless in front of our Uchiha family Sharingan. Uchiha said arrogantly. Uchiha Jien's words completely annoyed Hyuga Hiyashi. He attached great importance to the glory of the Hyuga family. I said your name is Uchiha Jien. You said Byakugan is worthless in front of Sharingan, so you have Sharingan now. Hyuga-chen said with a smile. Uchiha Jien was speechless for a while, and then said angrily, I don't rely on Sharingan, and I can trample you garbage under my feet. This sentence completely angered everyone. If it wasn't for Nara Shikaku, Yamanaka Inoichi and Akamichi Chozo would have stood up. Naoki, look at his arrogance, can you still bear it? Let's beat him together. There is a saying that the law does not blame the public. Hyuga-chen added another fire. When Hyuga-chen was lit, Hyuga Hiyashi was already on, and slapped Uchiha Ken out. Naoki couldn't take it anymore, and punched Uchiha Ken in the face, who had not gotten up yet. Seeing that Hyuga Hiyashi and Naoki made a move, plus Hyuga-chen said that the law is not to blame, the entire Class A, except Hyuga-chen, Uchiha Makoto, Namikaze Minato and Nara Shikaku, all rushed up. Hyuga-chen smiled and watched this scene. In fact, it was Hyuga Hiyashi, who could also be obedient to Uchiha's health education. Although the Hyuga family is a Chan oil family, at the age of 5, there are basically no people who can beat the Hyuga family. Because at this time, except for super geniuses, no one knows ninjutsu at all, so everyone basically relies on taijutsu at this time. And the Hyuga family, as a taijutsu family, has an advantage, not to mention that even if you can ninjutsu, the hand seal will not be very fast, and it will be interrupted before you finish the seal. If you do this, you will definitely arouse the dissatisfaction of the Uchiha family. Why do you do this? Nara Shikaku asked while looking at the calm Hyuga-chen. Although Hyuga-chen didn't do it, Hyuga-chen was the initiator. No reason, I just want to do something. Hyuga-chen folded his arms and watched the show. If the strength is not enough, Hyuga-chan will definitely not dance like this, but now Hyuga-chan's strength is not weak, and he is already qualified to dance. This is Konoha Shinobi Village. Even if the Uchiha family is dissatisfied with him, they won't do anything to him, not to mention through Makoto's conversation. Hyuga-chan also knows that the Uchiha family is not in harmony. This Uchiha Ken is a competitor of the next generation of the Patriarch, and he is definitely not in line with the Patriarch, so it is not certain whether someone will come to trouble Hyuga-chan. What's the matter? Stop me. Everyone stopped, looked towards the door, and quickly returned to their seats. What the hell is going on here? Ueno Shuri, the teacher of Class A, pointed at the miserable Uchiha Ken. At this time, Uchiha Jien had fainted, and the teacher Ueno Shuri checked and found that it was only a skin injury, and the injury was not serious, and he was relieved. If this is really serious injury, he, the teacher, will have to take responsibility, but on the first day of school, such a bad incident happened, which still made him angry. All the people who participated just now stood up, but I saw them all, you can't hide it from me. Ueno Shuri's face was extremely serious. After Ueno Shuri finished speaking, most of the class stood up, only Hyuga Tatsu, Uchiha Makoto, Nara Shikaku, and Namikaze Minato were still sitting peacefully. At this time, everyone focused their attention on Hyuga-chan. Look at what I'm doing, I didn't do anything. Hyuga-chan said innocently. Shameless. So shameless. He clearly instigated it, but now he pretends to be nothing, making everyone hate Kiba. Ueno Shuri looked at these people and was a little worried. This class is almost all children from big families, and it is not easy to manage at all. You all give me a penalty stand. The angry Ueno Shuri could only make such a punishment. Teacher, all this was provoked by Hyuga-chan, you can't let him go. Hyuga Hazashi pointed at Hyuga-chan. Hyuga-chan touched his chin, feeling that he taught Hyuga Hazashi too little. Who is Hyuga Tatsu? Ueno Shuri growled. Then, under Makoto's worried eyes, Hyuga-chan stood up helplessly. You also go out together. Although he was very surprised to see that Hyuga-chan didn't have Byakugan, the angry Ueno Shuri couldn't control that much. Teacher, Tatsu wasn't involved. Uchiha Makoto stood up and wanted to plead for Hyuga Tatsu. It looks like you have a good relationship, so let's go out and stand with him. After speaking, he left with the unconscious Uchiha Jien. He just checked it roughly, and he didn't know what the injury was. It would be better to send it to the medical department.